We're good, man. All right, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the Why Not Me podcast. I am your host, Jerry Ruiz from Top 3 Gaming. With me today, we have Justin Hunt from TBD. He's also a journalist, a hip hop connoisseur, and all things hip hop, go to this man. You can check him out on YouTube and the All Out Show, and we're going to find out where else. So give him a warm welcome, Justin Hunt. What up, bro?
Word up. Thanks for having me, man. It's great to be here.
No problem. And I'm a little rusty today. I've been on a vacation, so bear with me. All right, man?
Oh, welcome back.
All right. I'm a big fan of the All Out Show, so it's pretty cool to have you on here, man.
Dope, man. I'm a big fan too. It's really cool to be on that show.
Hell yeah. Oh, I thought you were gonna say my show, but whatever.
We'll see how the conversation goes. Now, yeah. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate it, and it's great to be here.
Yeah, no problem. Trey Redding says, "What up, Justin?" From YouTube.
Big shout out to Trey.
All right.
Trey's been holding me down for years. He's one of the first people to show me love and support on from DX and also on my own channel.
Hell yeah, that's a day one, huh?
Yeah, it's day one. A1 day one.
So he'll probably know the answer to this question, but I'm gonna ask, what is TBD about?
It's funny. Actually, the show's going through a rebranding, so you'll see it differently when it comes out. But initially, I was editor-in-chief of a website called Hip Hop DX, and I during my tenure there, we created the YouTube platform. Not the platform, but we created the YouTube strategy. So all the content that was coming through Hip Hop DX's video silo. And so we did a show called The Breakdown that became popular over there. And so we did that for a few years. It probably still is the biggest show on that platform, other than just news. It's a deep dive into life through the lens of hip hop. And when I left the company, I started my own YouTube channel. And one of the things that happened at the end of every episode of The Breakdown was me saying, I don't have the answers to these questions. And so when I started a new YouTube channel for myself, I was still going to do some similar type of breakdown, needed a new name. So with TBD, to be determined. But from an initial standpoint, it still alludes to The Breakdown. And I really just did that to get started. Like, I needed a name for something to get started because I'm on my own platform now. So this had to just be something. And now I've done it for a few years. I've also done some interviews, and I've worked with different places. I worked at Empire, the record label, for a few years. I'm writing on a couple of TV shows now that nobody knows about. I'm also working with an app company now. And, a music app that's tied to a legendary artists. And so those are some of the behind the scene things that I'm doing, but all the while I've been rebranding TBD. So, it'll be called It's All Happening with Justin Hunt. Because if you watch the show, I never actually say TBD anywhere in it anymore. And that's been intentional for a long time. But really, it's a show that looks at life through the lens of hip hop, right? So we'll take a conversation about Dipset and then talk about how Black people need to reclaim the Confederate flag or the American flag. You know what I mean? So stuff like that. Yeah. Look at them. They tried that. Kanye tried it. It's not nuts. All those guys tried it. But no.
The funny thing about it being named TBD is ironically right now it's kind of in a TBD phase. Like you said, you're kind of breaking it up and figuring it out. So it's kind of a good thing you named it that, huh?
Yeah, it definitely fit. I've got a couple really good offers for that show and a show like it on larger platforms, One TV Network, a bunch of big streaming platforms. And so I'm going through the offers now, so we'll see what happens, but the name will change.
I don't want to since you're going through contract talks maybe or whatever, I don't want to ruin anything or mess up anything, but you're keeping creative control, right? If you do.
Oh yeah. Okay. I mean, that's the main reason why I left Hip Hop DX is I didn't own my content. So, it was, there's, after a while when you do something, depending on where your values are, that tends to be a huge motivating factor in you getting to the next level. And I spent too much time taking so much pride in so many things that I made that so many people in the organization did not believe in at all until all of a sudden they got popular. Then everybody wanted to take credit. That's how things normally go. That part wasn't upsetting to me because I was the editor in chief. But what was upsetting was I didn't have equity in the company at that time. And so that was one of several things that were challenging for me that I won't speak about. But that one, one of the reasons I left was to make sure I own my own content. And so I'm not going to give it up.
Oh, yeah, man.
I'd rather do business with people than be in business with everybody, if you know what I mean.
No, yeah. I like hearing stories like this, bro. The good and the bad, because it lets me know what to look out for and know which way to go with my YouTube career. But I noticed that you had like a conversation with, and then it would have an artist, like let's just say Mers. Is that part of like the TBD, or is that
no?
Just like
that's
separate?
not. Those are totally separate. Yeah. Totally so on my channel, you'll find episodes from the All Out Show, segments that I'm on. You'll find conversations I have with different artists or public figures. So everyone from Immortal Technique to, Mers or I guess Felt, Mers, Slug, and Ant, Lupe Fiasco, Jim Jones. I've got one coming out with Torre, the journalist. I've got another one, Master P, that's about to drop. With just different people around different topics that I'm interested in. So, some things are news cycle based on whether the artist has some music coming out. I've got an Iceware Vezo conversation coming out soon he's out of Detroit. I'm very interested in that sound and that scene. But most of them are just me reaching out to people that I want to talk to because I have certain questions or certain things on my mind. And so that's really why it's just conversations. It's kind of hey, let's just talk for a few hours and see where it ends up.
Hey, you never know, man. You can meet some pretty dope people, huh?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Absolutely.
Hey,
and usually, those are kind of things that feed my analysis, right? I sell perspective ultimately, right? Everyone needs to know what they sell. I sell perspective, right? And so I'm only as valuable as what I know. And so for me, I have to find as many ways to have conversations with people that help broaden my perspective on whatever it is that's going on. So, and sometimes that comes with partnering with different organizations. I try to do everything I can to get paid to go to school, right? Rather than pay to go to school, I want to go learn someplace dope and have them pay me to be there.
Hell yeah, man. I feel you on that, bro. I'm liking the vibe of you right now, man. That's like some of the same points I have about this. So I guess everyone wants to get paid to do something they like, right? Or at least do something that kind of matters in their own way.
Yeah, look, if you're not getting paid for doing what you love, then you have a hobby, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I personally have a series of checkpoints, right? I don't have one dream anything. I have a bunch of things I want to do, and I've always had a lot of things that I wanted to do. And so for me, every time all those things that I've always wanted to do to some degree have been a hobby. So I know that I love them by the hobby part. And then it's like, man, I love this so much. It's time to get paid to do it. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much how I look at things.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, I'm taking notes down, like you said. You got to know what you're selling. Perspective is what you're selling. So I got to figure out what I'm selling.
Yeah.
So,
well, you're selling engaging conversations right now at bare minimum.
Yes, sir. And I'm letting people market themselves and their brand too. So
there you go. You're selling marketing services.
That's how it goes. How long have you had TBD? I guess.
My YouTube channel.
Yeah.
My YouTube channel has been up since, I don't know, 2018, maybe 17, something like that. Let me see. Yeah, 17. Yeah, about 2017. I took a year hiatus from last year to this year since I was working with the record label. And I brought a country artist to the label. And so I spent most of the year learning about the business of selling music, right? What it takes to get an artist from 0 to 60, 10 to 100, And I was in the country space. I never knew writing about rap music would bring me to country music, but it did. And so,
Old Town Road.
and the timing, a year before, I signed an artist named Willie Jones, who Rolling Stone called the future of country music. And he's a hip hop kid. I mean, he grew up in the South in Shreveport, Louisiana. A phenomenal voice, but he is earnestly, organically Black. You know what I'm saying? And has a hip hop appreciation growing up, but he fell in love with country music through one of his music classes in high school. They had to perform a country song at a talent show that the school was doing. And so he was going through all these country songs and fell in love with the music. And so his music is this natural blend of like, you know, country music that still has, you know, that soul roots connection to it. And so we signed him. He can rhyme too, don't get him twisted. But we could sign him, and then a year later, Old Town Road, Lil Nas X blew up. And so Willie was super well positioned then because there was a rift in country on whether Old Town Road was country or not. I don't think it's country. I think it's less country than Bone Thugs and Harmony's Ghetto Cowboy. That was way more country than Old Town Road.
That's one I don't really like, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and if I talk to Bone regularly, at least one or two of the members at least. And, you know, that is one of the most requested songs they have.
Really?
Every time they're going on tour. They said I mean, if you look at the numbers, it's the 5th highest charting song they've ever had. It's the 5th most popular song ever. And it's one of the ones that they always get requests for that they never perform because it was a joke song. Yeah. They were playing around in the studio one day and said, man, what if we just do some country stuff? And then somebody from the label came in and said, yo, we're going to radio with this right now. And it blew up. Well, that's very similar to what happened to Lil Nas X, except his was less country. And then they had to countrify it more and they put Billy Ray Cyrus on it. And then so it became accepted from the country chart standpoint. But country at that point in time was like, okay, well, clearly there's something here. Willie Jones was already very well placed because he's organically and authentically country, but he's organically and authentically hip hop as well, and unapologetically Black at the same time. So country supports him heavy. I mean, he's on the top of all the country streaming lists. When his album drops this year, it's going to make a big impact. But that's what I was spending the past year doing. So I took a hiatus from making content because it's tough for me to write things when I'm in the middle of learning about, you know, when I'm in the middle of school. It's always tough for me. And so I'm back with content now. But TBD is just a show on my channel. The conversations lead into TBD because it's me getting more insight. And then also on the channel, you'll find stuff I've done for other platforms. So you have all of the old breakdown episodes, at least some of the old breakdown episodes. You'll find some stuff I did for Empire. And, you know, a couple of random things in there that I've experimented with that, you know, you'll see more of going forward.
So I guess a quick breakdown of this would be what do you do at TBD, like or what does a work day look like? Or
I mean, it's mine. I just write. I mean, it's really a name of a show. So I host the show, and so I write. You know, I write the copy. I have an idea. You know, I generally try to connect everything through hip hop because I really want to talk about life, and it's the music of a generation. So you can talk about anything in life and enter through hip hop, and everybody will understand. Because even people who hate hip hop, they know what happened. West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spend most of my days. Right? Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with gaming. I haven't played video games in forever. I'm definitely getting a PS5.
All right.
But the last system I had was the Wii.
Trying to convince my fiance to get me the PS5.
She's not a good fiance. She shouldn't be a fiance if she ain't getting you a PS5.
All right. She's watching this too, so right, take down notes.
Right. Maybe she's trying to surprise you. We'll see. But you know, same thing with video games. I haven't played a video game in forever, but every game is either Mario, which is Donkey Kong, Pong, which is sports, Tetris, which is all the little word game or the little puzzle games, GoldenEye, which is all the first-person shooters. Like every game is basically that game, and everybody has a connection to some game. Like if But mobile phone games is just a cooler version of Game Boy games. So our whole generation, you can enter any conversation through video games. People will have some connection, and then you branch off to maybe what the video games are talking about. Last of Us 2, talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Apparently, most fans of Last of Us 1 don't like, and you can explain why and still embrace the gaming culture. I do the same thing with hip hop.
All right, that's a pretty good outline. So every show is kind of random, right? Like how you said you had your main topic you do, and then you kind of flesh it out from there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a writer. I'm a journalist at first, so everything has an editorial context to it. I'm not a podcast host or influencer or a personality first. I started off as a journalist first, and so. I started off in investment banking, but left to pursue a career writing about rap music. And I took it seriously from the writing standpoint. And through that process, I was able to work with different organizations that gave me opportunities to expand my skill set. When I was editor-in-chief of BrooklynBodega.com in New York, they had a radio show that the owner didn't have time to host anymore. So he gave me the opportunity to host this online radio show. This satellite radio show. And my first episode was about De La Soul. And so it was 4 hours of me by myself in a studio trying to make De La Soul history interesting. It was nerve-wracking. I was nervous. I'd never done it before. I was frightened. I was sweating like crazy. And let me do the next week and the next week. And I did it for 2 years. And then the station gave me my own show. So I ended up being on radio for 5 years. So all those reps were important because then I started hosting and producing different shows along the East Coast. That whole, and I would invest in shows just so I could host them. Right? I didn't want to go into production. I knew I didn't like that part, but I needed to be on stage in front of people. So I would go half on somebody or quarter with somebody with a show, and then I'd be hosting things in front of bigger crowds. So the first one was, I ended up breaking even. The first one was Freddie Gibbs, was it? I can't remember. The first one I think was I can't remember who the first one was, but I know the second one was Action Bronson was the headliner. We made a ton of money.
Hell yeah.
The next one was Talib Kweli and Reese. We broke even. And then there was another one where we lost a lot of money, and I knew I did not like. I wasn't even making money yet. I was like, you know what I'm saying? I was still making like $60 an article and living off the money I saved from banking that held me down when I was trying to figure out how to write about a product people don't buy. So, that taught me that I don't like I don't like show production. I don't want to throw events. I don't like throwing events, but it gave me reps on stage in front of people. And all those things were critical because when I got to DX, I was already writing for him, but when I took over as editor-in-chief, all those things were critical because the first thing that I was tasked with was starting a whole video division. So I had reps on camera, I had reps on radio. And so the last step was figuring out a way to connect with the audiences in a unique, original way. And at that point in time, the whole mantra was people have short attention spans, make everything shorter or no one's going to watch it. And I thought it was stupid because I would go to the gym and see people watching Netflix on the treadmill. I'm like, if it's dope, people will watch. We just have to figure out what dope is. So all those things went into how me hosting a show or video in general. But the way I write the show comes from an editorial journalistic background. So in terms of what we do, I write the article. I have an idea from a journalism standpoint. I write it down, write my scripts. I pull all the elements in. Someone shoots it or just moves the camera where I tell them to move it. And then I turn around, I edit it, and then I put it up.
All right, man. I mean, it sounds simple, but I'm sure it is easier now too, since you got a lot of experience.
I got a lot of reps. Yeah, I've got a lot of reps now. And then too, I've learned a lot from the people I work with at Hip Hop DX. I've got and I still worked with them for a while until they started doing other things. But we're all so cool and everything. But, again, like I said, I'm a product of, I'm a product of putting myself in experiences where I get paid to learn about things I love.
All right, hey, dude, that's a perfect that's a perfect way to live your life, bro. So, you said your first actual live radio was about 4 hours, and then
Hmm.
you said when you went to the gym, you noticed people were watching Netflix, and they would take a while too. So, like, how long do you determine how an episode is going to be that you make, or is it just like however long you wrote down your topic and that's it? Do you have a certain time
Yeah,
frame?
I mean, I try to be true to what my audience seems to like the most. Most of them seem to like me talking longer, you know. But one of the things that comes with learning to be an editor on the journalism side and other sides as well is that sometimes you need to make things shorter. So I try not to write for time. Right. I've written a lot of articles. I've written a lot of articles that were 1,200 words just because that was the word count that was required.
That was the filler.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, I wouldn't call it was filler in high school and college, right? It's not filler now because I like doing it. But what it does is, and if you have too much filler, you're probably not going to get a chance to write again, right? I mean, people can tell when you're reading an article by someone who doesn't want to write that article or is writing for some length. But what it does tell you is you just need more sources and you need more, perspective, or you need to think about this more. But for my own stuff, most of my stuff is somewhere between 9 and 16, 17 minutes from a video standpoint. My conversations I treat more like podcasts than anything else. And so those are hour plus normally. And then I'm taking all the audio from everything that I've done because one of the reasons I needed to leave DX was so that I own my own back catalog, meaning I need to own my own content. I need to own my own interviews. I need to own my own just random videos of concerts and things like that. I need to have an archive. And so because I have my own archive, because I look at everything journalistically, because I'm conducting my own interviews with current people in the space, I'm able to connect these dots for topics I want to talk about and use an entry point for something that's happening in the news.
All right, hey man, that's awesome, bro. You need to own whatever you can. It's sick that you can be like, oh, you know what? This is happening now. I can link it to this that I did way back when.
Yeah,
Um,
100%, 100%.
I was gonna say, is it pretty trippy to see some of the stuff you did back then to like what you did now?
It used to be. I definitely remember. I mean, when we started putting videos out on Hip Hop DX, we would get like 1,000 views and celebrate.
Hell yeah.
Because most of our videos were getting 200 views. I mean, I probably made. I mean, as a team, definitely, of course, is everything I'm referencing is, from a team standpoint. We probably made 1,000 videos before anything really started blowing up. But I personally was like, I personally wrote probably at least 100 different videos that nobody was paying attention to. And so, it's always great to see the fruits of your labor. And if there's moments that I'm proud of, is that I'm proud of the fact that everybody else is now doing this and they weren't then. And so that is, something I'm proud of from my connection to the universe, to the zeitgeist standpoint, meaning when you try to do something new or outside the box, you get a lot of dream killers. And it's always great when they were wrong and you believed in yourself and it worked out. And so seeing the influence around is great. The episodes I'm most proud of tend to be the ones where I said something or predicted something and it worked out.
Hell
Right?
yeah.
I have an episode called How to Beat Drake in a Rap Beef. And
Nice.
that's exactly, and what I said in the video is exactly what Pusha T did.
I like how you had
Look,
to kind of remember his name.
right.
That's the
Exactly
only
what
time
Pusha
he
T
blew
did.
up.
I've been, you can't do Pusha like that,
My
but that's
bad, my
definitely his best album. I'll tell you this, I love Clip stuff. I like I like that Pusha album so much because it's just enough Pusha for me. I like 7 tracks of Pusha T. I don't need 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Those are all too much. But, I've known Mouse for a long time. And, so that one was dope, seeing okay, that actually happened in the future, you know.
So you're saying if I ever get in a beef with someone online, I just go to you and you'll write a blueprint for me and you'll be in my corner.
I would say I definitely, those are definitely part of the services offered by Company Man Media. You're correct. Yes.
All
How
right, there
to
you
handle Twitter
go.
beef. Company Man Media will give you an outline.
All right, they'll be in your corner. You got a trainer right here. What's the starting
You know what
price?
it is. You know, well, we do package deals. We get you an online beef consultant. We get you some billboards. You know, write your bio.
Some private
And then,
detectives or something.
you know, sometimes you need it, man. You definitely need to know how to find stuff on the internet. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, man. Now that was a pretty crazy beef. It ended pretty crazy.
I don't know. Is it over? I don't even know if it's over.
I haven't heard anything about it, so maybe they'll do a part two, huh? But
I don't know. It sounds like kind of Drake just shifted towards Kanye.
did he? Oh man,
I
dude,
mean,
I've
that
been out of the loop.
Scorpion, the Scorpion album's got all kinds of subliminals. I mean, he leaves everything open to get
Hey,
inside Kanye's head.
um, I don't really listen to Drake, so I haven't really heard the Scorpion. And no diss, he's a good singer and everything. It's just kind of not my lane anymore, I guess, to listen to.
Yeah, I get. I find Drake to be very narrow in terms of his range of conversation. So I don't listen to him very much now, and I listen to him a lot less, considering I'm not going out because of COVID or whatever, or because things have shut down, or clubs aren't open, or people aren't outside. So I don't hear Drake in the ethos as much as I used to. You know, he's still showing up on all my playlists or Rap Caviar or, Apple Music, top of the chart. So I run across him there. But, I think he's a great rapper. I think his impact is undeniable. I think he has carried the, internal drama, trauma, challenges forward from where Kanye started him, or from where Kanye left. I think he grabbed the baton from Kanye in a really cool way. I think he's great about knowing what the new scenes are going to be or what the new sound's going to be. I don't think he makes great albums, but I think he's one of the best singles and features artists ever. And
Did you see
that's
that?
pretty much where I leave it with him.
You see that statistic that said that they showed, I guess, like previous like artists, their top 100 Billboard, what place they were in, and then after Drake went in, that they went up to the top 100 like ASAP, like the top 10 even.
Yeah,
And
it's called the Drake effect. I don't know which one happened first or second, but I know 6ix9ine was trolling somebody. I guess maybe it was Lil Durk. I don't know who he was trolling, but he said these cats can't chart unless Drake is on it. I don't know which one came first. And maybe the Drake effect thing came out first, and then 6ix9ine responded. I can't remember, but I saw them both the same day or around the same time, and that makes sense. I mean, that's the reason why you collaborate. And
yeah, Drake has
you
a
know,
big audience, man. There's
yeah, I
no
mean,
denying that.
he had a whole country before he got here.
Yeah, that's true, bro. And well, now he probably has more than one now that has his back.
Yeah, he's got the world now, but it's difficult if you're already a star in one country and you come to another country, you have a baked-in base. And then he has, he was talented enough to have all the eyes in MySpace, all the eyes on MySpace checking for him, right? And so you get Rap a
MySpace,
Lot
huh?
Records. Yeah, you get Rap a Lot Record support. You get Cash Money support. You get Young Money support. You get Republic support. You get Universal support. It's kind of hard not to. And you have a whole country at your back.
And you can sing
That's
pretty good, That all, or you have
yeah,
good.
and you're willing to. Yeah,
And you have talent.
And you're a great writer, a phenomenal writer. And especially when it comes to pop songs. So, there's always this controversy around whether Drake writes his stuff. Drake definitely writes. We're in an era of collaborative writing. I mean, the biggest rap songs for a long time had more people in that studio who probably didn't get credit than we imagine in our head. We know that because there were ghostwriters on the first big rap song. So it's not really something that's as much of an outlier as it is as much as something that, people within their communities, within MC to MC or whatever, look at a little differently than maybe some others. You know what I mean? Like, just because Jay-Z quoted Biggie a whole lot doesn't mean that Biggie was ghostwriting for Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter that. So it sounds crazy that Cameron's going to call out Jay-Z for biting Biggie, which is like, okay, I definitely see him quoting Biggie a lot. But I also have all these raps from Jay-Z that I love that Biggie never said.
Yeah.
So,
you got to make headlines, bro. You got to make those headlines to help sell music too.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely want to get into people's psyches, and quotes do that really well, and so.
I kind of was talking to my cousin the other day about Dr. Dre. You know how we're talking about ghostwriters? Ice Cube, he wrote pretty much like all of NWA's original, all the lyrics, supposedly. Have you noticed that Dr. Dre, like, when he's with Snoop Dogg, like, his lyrics are all like Snoop Dogg style? When he's with, like, Eminem, his flows are all like Eminem's. And it's like, whatever song he's on, he's like, he does the same flow as the artist. And, that's evident right there that they write his lyrics for him. But he's a producer, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Dre's not a rap. No one ever thought Dre was killing people in the cypher. You know what I'm saying? Dre was not out here trying to be the greatest rapper. He might have been trying to sell the most records.
Yeah. Made fire beats, though. Like, the headsets too, bro.
Yeah, he's one of the greatest artists ever. And so, I mean, that's a great example, right? Another example is Kanye West, right? Kanye West is very open about the number of people he enlists to make anything. Like, he is very open about that, and then he'll say stuff like, I want to be the top 5 rapper of all time. I want to be the greatest rapper. Well, it's kind of hard to be the greatest rapper and see if you need a room full of people to paste these bars together. No one says you're not witty or clever, but clearly in most of your recent interviews, the last thing you want to talk about is the music. You want to talk about sneakers and Disney and land, so people, it's one thing, like, hip hop is a very individualistic sport. It's one of the things on genre of music. I think it's one of the reasons why I think about it as very American, because America is a very individualistic culture, right? It's not about family or community in the same way that other countries are, right? We're, the solo guy makes it on his own with his great idea and he wins and he doesn't share, right? And so with hip hop is very much like that. Also, we think about these people being so great on their own, and that's why, and if you need more people to put your songs together, it's somehow derogatory. But that only works to a point, right? It only works until you start having to compete with people in other genres for awards and recognition, right? It's very hard to make an album by yourself that is going to compete with Adele and her whole company, all her teams, all her people. You're sitting down in your room by yourself is going to be very difficult for one reason. Not to say that level of genius doesn't exist, but it's rare. But the biggest one is a lot of these award shows take a lot of votes. And so people tend to vote for things that they're a part of. So a lot of times you just need to bring more people around so you have more, so that wave is bigger. So more people are talking about it because more people are invested in it.
I never knew that.
So now more people are making money off. Yeah, so more people are making money off of it. So now everyone's like, yo, this is the hottest thing ever. Check me out on track 5. I'm in the credits. And so you have, like, here's a great way to look at it, right? De La Soul was nominated for Rap Album of the Year exactly one time. And it was their last album. And that album, what's it called? And Then You Shoot Your, somebody look it up. I'm no disrespect to De La. I think no, I can't think of what it's called.
Whoever has the answer, comment down below whenever you can.
Yeah, so that album was started by a Kickstarter, right? They said, hey guys, we want to make another album. We're going to try this Kickstarter thing. If you guys want to hear another De La album, submit some money to Kickstarter. And so people did, and they got $600,000. First of all, ain't nobody giving De La Soul $600,000 in 2017 or whenever this was. Almost nobody is getting $600,000 for one album, right? So they got $600,000, and they said, man, what are we going to do with this? This is way more money than we thought. So they sat down, they took their time, they pieced together this album. right? And it's a weird mix of albums. Some things sound like rock stuff. Some stuff sounds like country. Clearly there's some hip hop in there, but they went through and they picked out all the people they wanted to work with. There's some behind the scenes legends that are there. I mean, it's a real weird amalgamation of stuff. It's not my favorite De La album by any means. Don't get me wrong.
You
But
think it you think it was just random because they didn't really think of it, like they didn't really plan it. It just kind of was thrown in their lap, so they just kind of
no, they did the opposite. The random part was let's just see how much money we could make off Kickstarter.
Okay.
Then they made $600,000. Then they got particular about who they wanted to work with because they could afford it, right? And they did this indie. They're indie when they do this. That's why they have to do Kickstarter. And so they put this album out, and it's a really weird, nuanced kind of story. It's the same year Chance the Rapper comes out. So that's who the big, attention grabber was. But they do this thing, and then they end up getting nominated for Rap Album of the Year, the only nomination they've ever had. And there was a tie that year. So there's 5 in a category. That one had 6. They were 6. I think there were 6, But here's the thing. I was at the Grammys that year, and I was just so amazed by this De La thing. They had people from every record label, almost every genre of music on this album. They get nominated for a Grammy, and it's not music that's moving the universe. It's not earth-shattering songs that are popping out. It's great. It's a quality De La album. It's probably like 5th or 6th favorite De La album to me. That's how great I think they are. They're on my wall right there. De La Soul, AOI Bionics. It's one of the ones I love. They got so many great ones, right? Now, here's the thing. And I'm just trying to figure out how they did this. Well, I asked a friend of mine at the Grammys who was working on one of the projects that was also nominated. And I said, how much do you think on average each one of these albums costs, these Grammy-nominated albums? How much do you think they cost? He said, you mean from the beginning to including marketing? And I'm like, yeah. He said, about $500,000. $500,000, right? De La somehow gets $600,000. They piece this thing together with all these people in different places. I'm a member of the Grammys, of the Recording Academy, so I have relationships there. I've been in these rooms, and they're getting people from all these genres on there on an indie album. Now, what happens is when record labels have artists that are nominated for Grammys, they send email blasts around their whole companies. And then the company says, oh, cool. And then the artists are sending all their friends messages about how many things they're nominated for. There was people in other genres, other labels all over this $600,000 De La Soul album that was marketing the heck out of this in the right circles. And they just happened to have enough money that they were able to crack that 500,000 threshold. In a year, there was a tie. So that doesn't happen if you just sit here on your own, write your own bars by yourself, and you don't have the money to put it up. A lot of times you need collaborative writing just to compete with Adele.
Yeah, no, that's true, man. And like you said, to even help market or whatever algorithm they have so you can enter in that thing.
Right.
What did you think about Macklemore and Kendrick Lamar on there when Macklemore beat Lamar for the Grammy?
I think it's whack when you apologize for winning.
Yeah, that's when you apologize for anything you do, like unless it's really, really crazy. But
no, I think it's okay to apologize. I don't think you should apologize for winning. I think maybe you apologize for cheating.
Yeah.
But I don't think you apologize for winning. And you definitely don't go on an apology spree.
Well, let's just say you do cheat. I mean, you already did it, so what's an apology really gonna do? I think you should kind of like just prove, that maybe if you're really sorry, you can do it legitly or do something legitly, I guess, in this context.
I think people should repair any damage they inflict on people. So, that's just kind of where my moral compass is.
Yeah.
My values foundation lies. If you inflict, pain, crime, malfeasance on someone, I think you should repair that relationship and or provide whatever repair is required and be earnest in, making the other person understand that, you have remorse for your actions. I personally feel that way, but I don't know if this makes sense at all because Macklemore won.
Yeah.
Right. So he's apologizing for winning and he didn't cheat. So essentially, it sounds like he's apologizing for being white and winning an award in a mostly, at that point in time, not white, landscape. I mean, that's just lame. Like, hip hop is the most competitive shit ever. That's the least hip hop shit I've ever seen. You mean you're apologizing for winning in hip hop?
Yeah, that's true.
How do you do that?
Especially when a lot of times everyone is always saying they're the best rapper too. So
right, you never see nobody's apologizing at the end of a smack battle.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't think I have.
No, I mean, the closest is that movie Bodied, and the guy, I guess, should have apologized for shitting on his friend like that, but that's a movie. Like, you don't go, this is rap, man. You're going to win all the awards and be like, my bad, y'all, man. Look, I promise you, I was telling everybody, all my friends to vote for the other guy. I mean, maybe you say it once to him, but why you got to tell everybody? Because what it sounds like to me is you're pandering for acceptance. Like, you don't want to get voted off the island because, it looks like a lack of confidence, And I honestly think that's a huge reason that we haven't seen Macklemore more up front since then.
Yeah, I was going to say he kind of disappeared after whatever his last project was.
Yeah, he had another project after that. I respected the hell out of it because he was giving so many jobs and opportunities to artists that people often forget about, a lot of hip-hop legends. But, I mean... You're out here apologizing for winning in rap. Come on, man.
Yeah, normally if you do that, they probably would make a diss song after, making fun of you for apologizing.
Or start to ignore you, which I think happened.
They don't take you as seriously, huh? Maybe, I guess.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, these are all just philosophical, cultural things. You know what I'm saying? So,
and then too, an award is pretty much just an opinion of everyone. Not everyone, but just a large amount of people. So, I mean, how are you gonna apologize for people's opinions, anyways? Like, at the end of the day, the Grammys were just what everyone, well, not everyone, but mostly a large group of people thought. So, I mean, hey, they thought you were dope. You were doper than Kendrick at that time. I guess I got to be careful on that part, but. Yeah,
I mean, they definitely thought that album was more groundbreaking than what was that? That was Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah, Good Kid, Mad City.
That was Good Kid, Mad City. Was that right? So,
classic.
So Kendrick definitely got his due.
Yeah.
Let's not act like he didn't. But here's the side of that. I mean, that Macklemore album was innovative. He was an independent artist. He got a one-off radio promotion deal for an indie artist through a company called 88, which was not a thing at that point in time. So they took whatever the biggest song, I Wear My Grandma's Clothes, whatever that song was. They pushed that thrift store, thrift shop. He got an indie deal that allowed him the opportunity to go to radio, which wasn't a big thing. I mean, that was not common at all then. That song blew up through those channels, which highlighted the album, right? So that's innovation in itself. That's something to be proud of, to negotiate. I mean, Macklemore had been around for 10 years.
Oh, dang, I didn't
know that moment.
Yeah,
he wasn't a flash in the pan. He's one of Seattle's most successful artists ever. I mean, he's an indie artist running around Seattle for a long time, doing all the work, smart enough to sign a unique deal situation for a song that they bet right on. Radio is expensive. If you give me $60,000 right now, I can get you in the top 20. If you give me $100,000, probably get you top 10. On the hip hop charts.
Yeah.
You talking pop or country? If you talking pop, multiply that times 5 maybe. If you're talking country, at least by 3, maybe inverse those two numbers. But it's expensive, and so a lot of people throw money to get on radio, and it doesn't work out because the song just wasn't good enough. Well, that song was. So he has no reason to apologize for winning in rap. from a guy who's been around for 10 years, who negotiated a dope deal against an artist who is, a debut artist who everyone loves. I get it. But you're going to go on an apology tour after all the work you put in? I can't support you no more.
All right. I guess we'll draw the line right there on that topic. That's a good way to end that. So you said you were working at a bank, and then from the bank you went to go work on hip hop. You kind of explained what hip hop was to you, but what made you decide that, hey, you know what? I'm gonna risk it all. I'm gonna risk a good job I have. Maybe take some criticism from family or friends. And why did you decide hip hop was something that you wanted to bank on?
I mean, hip hop, I think, has always been something that it's just been a part of me. Again, it's the music of our generation. I mean, it's so big. People who hate it knows what happened in West Philadelphia, born and raised. They know what happens right after that, right? So,
Yeah.
I had older cousins and family members who had been feeding me rhymes while I was in a crib. I've been having these debates and conversations at lunch tables since kindergarten, since elementary school. I
Fist fights over hip
lived.
hop.
I've seen them.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen them. You know what I'm saying? I've seen before there was memes of people crying over Chief Keef. I've seen that happen in real life when Do or Die dissed Bone Thugs and won. I've seen people be really, emotionally attached to it. My older cousin, grew up MCing, and he has a story in the 70s or early 80s, whenever he was having this, whenever this happened in whatever school.
Pioneer, huh? That's a pioneer of hip hop right there, man.
I mean, he was definitely a part of that pioneering generation.
Yeah.
He's not Cool Herc. I'm not talking about Grandmaster Flash,
but even then, he was still helping put it out there by MC.
Yeah, I mean, he was carrying on tradition, and so, he was definitely the pioneer, the legend in my life and my family.
Yes, sir.
So I'll give him that in 100%. But that's my cousin Shab, man. He's the biggest influence I've had in terms of what cool in general is, what this culture means in general. And he has this story he tells that he knew he wanted to rhyme because he was given a poem in class. It's like a poetry class or something. And he was saying a poem about someone in our family who died. And he was saying the poem, and then someone else in the class started crying. And he said, "Why are you crying?" Or the teacher said, "Why are you crying?" She said, "Oh, I had someone die too, and now I'm sad." And then, so for him, he saw the power that those words can have, even though, the power the words can have to incite emotion. And so I think my generation understands that at, a very core point, but it's something that's always been a part of me as well. And so I moved to Amsterdam. I took an art history class. The art history professor said, "Hey, if you like art history, you should take a painting class, because that way you'll see how brilliant, how hard it is to make perspective like Rembrandt, right? Or motion like Vermeer or whatever." And so I didn't like art history that much, but I loved hip hop. So that's when I started like actively, doing every element. Me and my friends grew up writing rhymes and freestyling all the time, but I didn't have a tag. I wasn't graffitiing. I'd never touched turntables at that point in time. I hadn't breakdanced in a long time, right? So I actively started just doing it from this perspective of my teacher, as opposed to the perspective of trying to have a career in it. And it got me so much closer to how difficult things are. Meaning, we think rap is easy because it's not singing. No, it's more difficult because it's not singing. You need more words.
Yeah. And they got to make sense a lot of times too.
Yeah, I mean, there's more emphasis on you doing this alone in a way no one else has. Singers don't have that. And so, and then Lupe Fiasco comes out while I'm at the bank, while I'm at work. So I start sending emails to my friends every day called Lupe Fiasco's Daily Quotable, because he was just blowing my mind with how small he could get and have big ideas. And so I started, a friend of mine says I should start a blog. I tell her now it's played out. This is '06. I didn't know what I was talking about. I was just scared.
Yeah.
And so she goes and takes my emails, puts them in a blog on her own, and says, "See, now look, this is what now you can save. Now you can save your emails here, and
She
everybody
was
can see them."
she was retweeting you before Twitter was a thing.
100%, she was. She was definitely forwarding emails, and so and then so I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so that became my hobby after work. I went from going out to happy hour, going to see whatever homegirl was talking about, and then to just going home, smoking weed and writing album reviews. It would take me 3 weeks to review games that, documentary, not even documentary, what was it? Doctor's Advocate or whatever came out around that time. But I just loved that process. And I got to the point where that's the only thing I wanted to do every day. My hobby was taking over. So then I started benchmarking myself. How good is what I'm writing versus what I'm reading? So I would write something, not read anything about it until I'm finished, put it on my blog. Then I go read other people's stuff to see what I missed. And I got to the point where I wasn't missing that much. So I got to the point where everything I was writing wasn't worse than everything I was reading, but it wasn't better than everything I was reading either. I was competitive. So then I was like, okay, well, I need to put a plan together. I started saving money. And I decided to leave in 2009 after the Great Recession. Timing was perfect because I had a lot of money saved. I took a buyout at the bank. So I had a big bag of money, and it was right after bonus season. So I got another big bag of money on top of that. And I had a 5-year plan I had about $120,000 cash that I had a 5-year plan to figure out what to do with in terms of how to get a job writing about rap. And if I got to 5 years and I was out of money and I still loved it, then I'd go to journalism school. If I got to 5 years and I hated it, I would just go back to the bank because I know all the money people. And, fortunately, it didn't take that.
Did you get any criticism from your friends and family, like saying that it was a dumb idea or?
Oh man, my dad thought I was nuts. My dad was like, "Are you crazy? You about to be a millionaire? What are you gonna do with this rap thing?" And I told my dad my plan, and he said, "Yeah, that's a pretty good plan."
Does your dad like hip hop?
He likes music. I remember my dad. I can't remember what song this was. He would we listened to the radio together, obviously, whenever we were driving to different places. He was a DJ in college in the 70s. So both my parents are really into music. We've had reel-to-reels in the house, huge record collection. So, music's always been a part of our family. But he never had a problem with it. Neither of my parents did. They would give me rap albums and albums, like records and tapes when I was a kid.
Cassette tapes?
Yeah, they bought me the Fat Boys album. Will Smith, he's a DJ, I'm the rapper.
Snoop Dogg?
Cool Mo D tapes. Yeah, they bought me Snoop Dogg too. And it's right there. Where's that?
Okay, that's the original?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So they would buy those things for me. So they were supporters of me being into art and music. But I remember my dad, because my dad grew up, some people's parents are the first ones to go to college, or some people are the first one to go to college. Yeah. My dad was the first one to go to college, but he was also the first male not to go to jail. Right?
Okay, so that's the double whammy right there, huh?
Right, yeah. I came out the right balls at the right time. You know what I'm saying? My brother came out the right balls at the wrong time. So some of these things you can't control. But
hey, at least
we're in the car one day.
High, man. For your brother.
Oh man, that's off. My brother was murdered when I was 12, so you didn't have that context. I won't hold it against you. That's not the comparison I've ever made. There's it's all good. But there's we're in the car one day, and I can't remember what song this is. And it's like, if the guy says, if you're not from the ghetto, don't ever go to the ghetto because you won't understand the ghetto. And my dad just broke out, he was laughing because something was so true. He was like, "That's so true right there. That's so true. That's right, son. You don't know nothing about the ghetto, right? You don't know nothing about it. It's a good thing you go to ghetto with us. They take your book bag, son." And so, they always support me. They're still together. They're both highly educated. We moved around a lot to different cities. I've seen a lot of different regions. I studied abroad. I've lived different places as an adult. And all the confidence I had to have a list of things that I want to do, and the belief that I can achieve them comes from my parents. And so they supported me because of that. And they were the ones that were the happiest when I finally got, an editor-in-chief position. And when my career officially started moving, because it's one thing, like I said, to have a hobby. It's a hobby if you're not getting paid for it. And I wasn't getting paid for 3 years after I left the bank. Like I made almost $0. Like I would make enough money to pay a bill here, a bill there, but not to pay rent. And so when I got to that point, they were really, they were my biggest champions.
If you don't want to talk about this, that's fine. Was your brother a hip hop fan with you as well, or?
Not really. I mean, my brother. I mean, he was, I'm sure, but my brother spent most of his time incarcerated when I was growing up. So, you ever seen The Wire?
No, I have not. Show?
There's a scene in, I think it's season 3 or 4, where they talk about these New York boys trying to go down to Baltimore to get easy money. My brother was one of those type of cats making those type of runs. And then he was murdered when I was 12 in Baltimore. Yeah. And so,
and I heard Baltimore.
He was, yeah, I mean, I have too. I haven't spent that much time in Baltimore. I spent a lot of time in DC, but yeah. And so it was a long time ago now. Yeah, that's what happened. That's how it happened.
All right, man. I'll go ahead and steer away from that, but I'm sure he'd be proud of you, bro. You doing what you love, and you having the balls.
I do too.
You having the balls to go away from banking and do that, man. That's insane. That takes a lot of courage, bro.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
So I guess, how did you link up with the All Out show?
Kelly Jones. Kelly was the head of marketing for Hip Hop DX while I was there. And she developed a partnership from DX to Sirius. And Jude shoots the show in LA. And at the time, there was a co-host who was in New York. Kelly and I worked together in New York before she came to DX out here in LA. And so what she did was, that was a broader partnership set up between the two, between us at DX and the All Out show. So I'd go on and just do the news. And then Jude and I developed a relationship through that. And then after I left DX, he said, he was down to still have me on the show. And I really appreciate him for that. He didn't, he had the easy opportunity to go find someone else who was still connected to a big outlet. And he, decided to still keep me around and have me talk on the show. So, that just shows you the character that he has, and he's a solid cat, and who puts fairness and freedom of speech, before anything else. And he lives that way. And he's only showed me those two things. And so I appreciate him.
Has he ever told you what it is that he saw in you that made him decide that you were good for his show? Or a good fit, I guess.
I mean, I know you could listen to Jude's show and tell he's not like that kind. He's not all, he's not love you, bro. Here's a hug. Nah, he's not that kind of guy. But we've had hours worth of conversations away from being on air, and clearly there's respect there because Jude doesn't spend time with people he doesn't respect. So I appreciate that.
I like how you said the freedom of speech part. That's putting it very lightly, man.
That's his thing. Some people are social justice warriors. Some people are freedom of speech warriors. There's gun-toting warriors too. Some people are just Second Amendment warriors. A lot of people have one issue that means more to them than anything else. And I don't think that's uncommon.
All right. No, that's cool, man. Whatever your side is, I just feel like don't try to push it too crazy. Like I guess the far reaching people of the spectrum on it.
Look, I'm down with your right to say what you want. I am not down with this idea that you think you shouldn't have repercussions for saying the wrong thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are two totally different issues to me. Look, you can do whatever you want in your house. You can't do none of that in mine. So
I'm in my house.
yeah, see, there you go. Right? Right. If I was to light up a spliff right now, it wouldn't be no problems.
Nah, that's
I'm in
true.
my house, you at your house.
Yeah,
If I
dude,
came
I
to
would
your
be.
house, if I light up at your house, maybe there's a problem. If
That's
you're
true.
at my house and you don't like it when I'm lighting a spliff, well, now you have a choice on whether you want to still be at my house.
Hey, I'm gonna go over right now, bro. Give me a second.
Word up. Are you in? So you're in LA too. Where are you?
I'm in California, Northern California. It's called Salinas.
Oh.
About an hour from San Jose.
Okay, cool. You still got a lot of sunlight over there, unless that's your lighting system.
That's my light and this light right here.
Yeah.
But it is pretty sunny out there too.
Yeah, I hear you.
So you said you're from New York?
I moved here from New York. Yeah, I'm from New York. I lived in New York longer than I've lived anywhere else. But both of my parents were born in New York. I was born in New Jersey. And then when I was 5, I moved to Chesapeake, Virginia. When I was 9, I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. When I was 15, we moved to Greenville, South Carolina. I went to college in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Junior year, I studied abroad in Amsterdam. Then I moved to New York after college, worked in investment banking for 6 years, and then switched to write about rap for the last 4, lived there for 10 years, and then been in LA for the past 7.
Oh, okay. So you're in LA now. Okay.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. No, duh. But
yeah.
It's funny because I could kind of tell you're kind of a East Coast guy because on your background, all I see is nothing but East Coast and then just Snoop Dogg.
There's Snoop Dogg, but hey, there's Blue and Exile up there. Blue and Exile is up there. That's, they're LA to the core.
And Tupac, I guess.
Tupac, he reps LA. Bone Thugs spent most of their career. They don't blow up until they get to LA.
Yeah, but technically,
they're from Cleveland.
Yeah, I would say they're Cleveland though.
They're quote unquote Cleveland, but they didn't sound like. They didn't have that harmony sound until they met Eazy-E. So depending on how you want to look at that.
All I remember them saying is Cleveland is the city where I come from.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't hear them claiming in LA.
Well, I can tell you this: how many of them live in Cleveland?
I don't know.
They ain't lived in Cleveland since that album came out. They might have houses there.
That's
those
true.
are some LA cats now. But yeah, most of them are East Coast. There's some Midwest Eminem's up there.
Detroit, yeah. Well, I can't see it right now, but I seen it at the end.
Yeah, and then there's down south, of course. You got Outkast down there. You got David Banner, Ninth Wonder over there. So
it's kind of funny. I asked you if your dad likes hip hop. Well, my dad speaks Spanish. He doesn't really speak English, so he's not, I guess, a big hip hop fan. But I guess his favorite rapper would be Eminem.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. He likes that one song with Eminem and Dr. Dre. It was it was a radio song. Not Forgot About Dre.
Still Dre. Oh, yeah. I forgot about Dre.
Yeah, it's not that one. It was gosh, I'm trying to remember what the name is. He's like, this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me.
This looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me. We need another controversy. Oh, without me.
Without
right. Without me.
Yeah, that's his favorite. I guess his favorite hip hop song right there.
Little hellions. These kids getting rebellious, embarrassed. Their parents won't listen to Elvis. Want them to listen to Elvis or something.
I'm sure he doesn't even know what it's saying.
Yeah, I mean Eminem's one of those guys, sometimes it's just interesting hearing how people say things rather than what they're saying.
Did you ever watch that documentary with Dr. Dre, how the Forgotten Ones or something like that? But he explains how his first session with Eminem in the studio.
Oh, you're talking about the Dr. Dre, Jimmy Iovine HBO doc? I saw that. Yeah,
dude,
that was good. Fire. That was actually that was really well done. That was really well done. Yeah, I mean, it's so. Sometimes I saw this meme online today, and it was Bryson Tiller playing with us all. Man, he had this huge backpack. It was some guy with a huge backpack in the mall, and it said, "Me walking around with my unreleased songs," and it was a huge backpack. It was Bryson Tiller, and that's how I feel about Dre, man. All the songs he's made that never came out, I feel like You know, there's so many awesome moments of life that could have been the soundtrack to that we'll just never get a chance to hear. You know, but you know, if you look at those careers too, I mean, you can, whether it's 50 Cent or Eminem in that era, everybody had to get to a point where they couldn't rely on Dr. Dre's songs on their albums as much. And so or Game, they all come out with Dre, Snoop, all these guys come out with Dre. And then over time, there's less and less Dre on the albums. You know, I'm not speaking as to why, but I look at this as he is such a perfectionist and went so long without putting things out that people had to make their own decisions. You know, like people had to say, okay, well, this one is going to come out in the imprint, but I'm over here learning to make beats. So I'm going to add these beats I made all over this. Or 50 runs to New York and is like, okay, we're going to take blank CDs with from anybody submitting beats, and we're going to make the Massacre and Curtis that way, you know? And I just think that's a reflection on how Dre tends to be very particular about what he puts out. And I can only imagine what awesome combinations of Dre and Eminem are out there that we'll never get to hear.
Yeah, because after, what was it, The Chronic 2001, there was that big gap between that and Compton. Right, that was his last album, Compton.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Or no, music inspired by the motion picture.
And like every other year, like for a while, it was like, oh, Dr. Dre's gonna come out with his new CD, and then it never came to fruition. And then even when it did come out, it finally changed from what it was supposed to be to Compton. So
yeah, he never put out Detox, but
yeah, there you go. Detox.
I think he just got rich and was like, okay, I guess I can put stuff out now. I can afford it. Most of these record deals are basically loans, and all that time that Dre wasn't putting money out, I'm sure there were costs attached to that. And when will.i.am came up with the hardware idea that inspired Jimmy Iovine to go to Dre to make headphones, and that worked, and then they sold to Apple, and then he becomes a billionaire, I think that's when you call up all your friends and say, guys, you know what? I was an asshole. You know, I was definitely a little particular about what I was going to put out, what not putting out. So anyway, what you guys need, man, I'm here for you now. Let's go ahead and just put out some stuff. Everybody come over, you know, I'll pay you back for the time lost. And I think he started making amends. And I think that's why we got the Compton album. You know, I think that's part of the reason why we got the NWA movie. I think people's spirit changes when they get out of debt.
Well, I hope I find out one day.
Look, right there behind me, there's like right here behind me over my left shoulder is the framed letter saying that I paid off my student loans.
Hell yeah.
I remember the day I got out of debt. I haven't been in debt since.
That way,
zero debt now.
IRS tries to call and says you owe them some money. Be like, nah, that letter says right there, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any debt. I pay my bills. I pay my bills and I don't use credit.
So
I live below my cash needs.
Since I said the IRS might check in on you, what would be a good reason to go ahead and check into TBD or your YouTube channel, man?
Life through the lens of hip hop, man. It is a passion of mine to have conversations that ultimately make the world better or invite people to a table to talk about things. There's nobody else in the space who merges things that are happening around the world and things that are happening around hip hop that bring you to a bigger conversation and still allow you to think on your own without telling you what to think. And, you know, more than that, I think just supporting people doing a positive thing is, you know, a great way to invest in more of that happening around the world. So whenever I get people asking me to be on their podcast, maybe I haven't heard of them, you know, whenever I get people that want to talk to me about, you know, quote me for some article or for some project they're working on, or if I get students at schools or teachers and programs who want me to come speak, or prisons, or when I go debate at Oxford or stuff like that, I do it because these are people out here trying to make their dreams come true. And I always find that to be a priority for me to support.
Yeah,
And
I
so,
appreciate it, bro.
yeah, 100%. And, ultimately, that term culture, I'm starting to hate the way people use that term culture now. The way people say things. I remember when Shotty, T.I.'s manager, no, 6ix9ine's manager,
Yeah.
was talking about we the culture now. It just sounds like bragging rights. I listen to Swiss Beats, advertise verses, which I love. And he says, "Oh, we the culture right now. We the culture." And then I watch like people on the gram out wilding, unknown people. Yeah, we culture, we the culture. And it's like, I think we need more community. Community is way more helpful than culture. And so I try to be part of communities and give people the opportunity to help I try to help people in any way that I can who are trying to make their dreams come true. So if you're into that type of perspective, check out the Company Man YouTube channel, check out TBD and all the content there.
All right, go ahead and follow TBD culture is what he's saying.
community, man. But you can follow at the Company Man on everything, though. That you find that's consistent.
Call it what you want to call it, as long as you follow and subscribe, huh?
Like and subscribe.
Hey, and Trey Redding, I see your comments. I'm not ignoring you I guess I am ignoring you on purpose, but not in a mean way. I'm gonna go ahead. I have a live question segment, so I'll go ahead and read them off once we get to the live questions. So feel free, Trey Redding, to ask whatever you want. But I'm gonna ignore them for the time being. Like I said, not in a malicious way though. Sorry, man. Part of the live, people gotta talk, and that's awesome. Like that's you said, community. This is the community right here, bro. They gotta be part of the show.
Yeah.
So anyone following you, anyone following me, I appreciate it. I'll drop links later, and they'll keep following both of us. But
good.
I guess since we're speaking of social media, how do you like it, and how do you use it to promote yourself?
I hate social media, man. It gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
I like, it's almost, I have a petrifying fear of public speaking, which is why I speak in public for a living, because fear is such a weak emotion. That's why I despise it. But so anything I'm scared of, I move on to I actively attack, because those tend to be the only things that are worthwhile. And so that lately has been social media for me. So this year I've done more social media stuff than I have in a very long time. And so I just treat social media like it's its own content vertical that starts with me and how I look at things. And then I support other people that I like or respect or have ideas that I think are important off social media, and I share those. And then I set my own content in there, and it's reciprocal. I spend most of my time on Twitter and Instagram. The Ambrosia for Heads Facebook page supports my content, thankfully. And so that is broader distribution. But, I spend most of my time on Twitter because it's the news. And so I like to keep up with what's happening, how quickly it's happening. Instagram, I like the story part because I can share things like it's news, but that one is even more nerve-wracking to me because I post something, I'm like, man, this didn't get as many likes as the last thing. What am I doing wrong? Twitter moves too fast for me to care. So that's kind of how I look at social media.
Funny thing about, I guess, my Twitter game, it's been, I created my Twitter in 2013, and then I decided, like, you know what, Twitter's not for me. So I just, like, disabled it because you can't really delete social media. And then once I started this podcast, I was like, you know what? I need to get my Twitter game back because, you need to socialize on everything to help promote. And so you'll see my recent tweets, and then out of nowhere, you'll just see like August 15th, 2013. That was the last one.
Right. So yeah. I mean, my Twitter, I was super active on Twitter when it came out. And then I took over DX. And I focus on their Twitter account more so. Not me, but their broader social media strategy and the people who ran the accounts. And stopped paying as much attention to mine. The only thing I would do for mine basically was retweet myself from the DX account here and there. But then the breakdown, started moving and started blowing up. And then I started, sharing, DX would share the content on theirs. And then organically my numbers started going up. So I had about 8,000, 10,000, something like that when I got to DX. And then I got maybe to 14,000 within the first 2 years. And then year 3, the breakdown blows up. And I get to like 22,000 fast. I got to 22,000 in like 5 months. And so now I'm at 27,000, I guess, on Twitter. But I actually like Twitter because it's the news and I'm a media junkie.
And you're a journalist too, so you kind of get to see you get to
100%.
see all that.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna lie, like when I see like famous people liking my tweets, it makes me feel a little better too. I'm like, all right, man, some people are getting to
you
watch
ain't
this.
Never lied. I know. It's like, thank you. Oh my gosh. Wait, is that Bernie Sanders just retweet? Did Bernie Sanders just follow me? Bernie?
Yeah, he's got my vote.
Yeah. I remember when Andrew Yang followed me and then we actually had conversations. I was like, man, this is amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's like, without social media too, I know you don't like it too much, but without social media, you never would have been able to contact a politician like that, right?
Well, not having immediate engagement. 100% no. You're right about that.
But now that's crazy, bro. So everyone that's famous and likes my tweets, go ahead and follow me. That'd mean the world.
That's step 2. Like is the first one. Step 2 is follow.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You can follow, then like if you like.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. So I guess you talked about you're currently working on how you want to take your show moving forward. Where do you hope to take your show? Not just like in the coming up future, but maybe a couple years or a couple more months down the line. Where do you hope to see TBD, other than maybe a different name?
It'll definitely be. I mean, it'll be a different iteration of similar type of content, right? It's not going to be exactly what it is now. And so, these are conversations that are actually ongoing, so I can't talk too closely to it. Excuse me, too specifically to it. But look, my mission is life through the lens of hip hop, right? And so wherever I go, that's what we'll do.
All right, man. Hey, like I said, I ain't trying to get you in trouble. I ain't trying to make you make less money.
Right.
But I guess you want hip hop to help shape your future as the way that, or maybe help shape other people's future, huh? The way it shaped yours.
It's the other way around. Hip hop is just gets people to the table.
All right.
Do you want to click on a video that says, would you click on a video that says, here's the importance of UBI in the year 2027? I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Now, if there was a way, if that had a connection to something I cared about, then that makes more sense.
Yeah, okay.
Well, what I mean is because there's certain things, again, hip hop technology, video games, hip hop social media, video games. You can talk about anything on the whole planet and start with one of those 3. And if you connect the dots right or use the right examples, you'll find yourself, oh shit, having a much broader conversation.
Hey, so what do you think about Logic switching over to Twitch? Since that one kind of technically covers all 3.
Oh, Logic the rapper?
Yeah.
I don't really think about it, but I know a lot of rappers are over there at Twitch now.
Because supposedly he retired and from music, and he's just anything he does release will be through Twitch.
Yeah, I mean that's another great example. I just saw. I think he's on that same esports team as Bronny James. I think there's. What's it called? FaZe? FAZE?
Yeah,
I don't really know that much about it.
Yeah, dude, I'm not a big esports
He signed
fan.
these guys. Yeah, look, you know who put me onto this? Merce. Merce was one of the first ones talking about how important Twitch was, and this was in 2017. And he started doing comic book reviews on Twitch, and he wanted DX to partner with it. I don't know what happened with that, but the next year we did a gaming event during the BET Awards. So we had a bunch of rappers come play Street Fighter V.
Oh, okay.
And
I would assume
so it
like
was me.
NBA or like Madden.
Well, we had a partnership with Capcom because that game was new. So we got paid through that. We had a partnership with Twitch, so we got paid through that. We did it during BET week, so we had a big venue and a bunch of artists came through and they played. And then it was broadcast live, and it was me and an esports gaming Street Fighter V champion talking about it. And so, yeah, I mean, that's a great example, right? Because so I can see where logic is coming from, why he might do that. I'm sure he has a special relationship with Twitch. I guess he's a gamer to some degree. And I think you're going to see a whole lot more of those type of collaborations and platforms. These guys, I mean, the new esports champions, what game is this? This is, I just saw this the other day. I can't think of what game it is.
I think Call of Duty right now is like
That's the one, Call of Duty.
That's the current.
And then now they're giving out championship rings, trophies, and custom Jordans.
For real? Imagine having
it's a real title.
Just a big old Super Bowl ring, like dang.
I would rock the hell out that, dog.
Yeah.
Let me get it. It looks like a Super Bowl ring. It looks like they won the NBA championship.
Someone's like, hey, I'll play you Call of Duty. If you don't got this, you're not on my level, bro.
Right. Right, man. Well, look, man, you need to put your rings up. We gonna be playing.
That or pay me money because they paid me money.
Now we sound like Lil Wayne on the Carter 2.
I don't got auto-tune on, so I don't sound too much like. No, that was actually that was a little bit
Lil
before,
Wayne,
right?
Lil Wayne was bragging about not battling people anymore because he was making too much money on the Carter 2. He was like, man, came up to me, man, and said, hey, man, I'll battle you right now on camera. You said, battle me? How much am I getting paid for this?
Exactly. Hey, you know your worth, bro.
That's know your worth. Know your worth. That's important.
I don't know why this just popped in my head, but I don't know if you've done a topic about this or not, but what do you think about some of these young artists dying at the age of 27?
I think it's weird when they want to. You know, like Uzi Vert's been trying to get it. He's been talking about being a part of the 27 Club for a long time. And then, that's an old thing. That's Jimi Hendrix. That's Janis Joplin. I think that's Kurt Cobain, if I'm not mistaken.
You think there's a conspiracy?
No, I don't. I think it's drugs.
Yeah.
You know, I think it comes from the mantra of live fast, die young, which has been a rock and roll thing, a hood thing, a drug dealer thing, a gang thing, poverty thing for a very long time. And I think that bleeds into why these people die so young. I think a lot of these kids don't think they're going to be as successful as they end up getting. And they're so young while they're just wilding like they're young. And then we lose them through that process. I don't think that I don't think the government is saying, yo, XXX is too powerful. We got to take him out now with two niggas at a BMW store. No, I don't think that's what's happening.
I think it just popped into my head because I'm 27. So like.
Oh, congratulations.
All right, man.
Well, how about this? I'll congratulate you when you're 28.
Okay. I was going to say, don't put that on me, bro. I'll be looking over my shoulder now. February is my birthday, so a couple months.
Dope. Congratulations. No, that's dope, man. I think, look, Biggie and Pac and them used to rap about, will I be alive when I'm 25? Look at these album titles. Like, look, look how dark the 90s was. There is a dark side. It's dark and hell is hot. Life after death. East 99 Eternal with a bunch of skull and bones and stuff everywhere. Eminem got the trunk of his car with his white legs hanging out. Even the color schemes are all black. The Fugees, the score is black. I mean, it's like black and like it was just a time of fatalism, man. This is before everybody was getting rich, or enough people were getting rich for people to think that they're going to have a chance. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a very fatalistic position to say these things. There's a rapper from Indianapolis. His name is Smack Peso. No one ever got a chance to hear him because he made a song called See Me Get Killed. And then 3 months later, he got killed.
Kind of put it into existence, huh? That's kind of...
FBG Duck made a song called Dead Bitches, and then we unfortunately watch his murder on the news. Thoughts are physical. You have to. Lupe Fiasco says, "A Mural" is one of my favorite songs, and this always sticks with me. He says, "You got to treat your vocal cords like it's a fortress, and treat every single one of your words like reinforcement, especially when recording, because that's the portion that's important. When I was reporting that I was poor, you got to protect your words, man. Protect your energy, because or else we might be having a conversation about how conspiratorial it is that you died so soon. And maybe that's what you've been talking about more than anything else.
Or since you have that kind of energy, you're kind of putting yourself towards that kind of action out there too, If you feel like you're talking reckless, you sometimes act reckless too, So
what do you think happens if you just talk about eating healthy, going to the gym every day, actually do it, and whatever your dream is? What do you think happens?
I think a lot of people that sell protein powders will hit you up and tell you to go ahead and sponsor them or something like that.
You will definitely make money. You will definitely be healthy. I mean, you'll be moving in that direction. You'll have things like protein powders that come around you. You have things like, fitness trainer organizations that are looking for more trainers. You'll have, that's the space you'll be in.
Yeah, no, that's true, bro. It makes sense. Look at you said Biggie and Tupac, how they didn't expect themselves to live that long, I guess, or
Biggie's first album is called Ready to Die. He showed up and he was ready to die.
Yeah, exactly,
bro. How long did we expect him? Suge Knight's in jail now. I'm not sure how long he's in there, but he actually might be on death row.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think live maybe. He ran over someone, right?
Yes, and if I looking at that on its own, I can't be that mad at Suge Knight. If someone runs up on me on a video shoot with a gun and I'm in the car, I'm just trying to get out. But Suge Knight did a whole laundry list of things.
Yeah, priors.
Before that, and he named his record label Death Row.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to convince people, like the judge, you're not about that either.
Doug, there's this kid who murdered this kid in New Mexico. He got into a fight. He wasn't an artist or anything, but his name is Esaias. I can never say it, but it's Esias, Madrid. And he went to a party was playing beer pong with some cats. His team won. And they were betting a watch. The guy got mad. The guy who lost his watch got mad, started a fight with these two kids. Both of them were strapped. Both of them shot the two guys. Zayas is the guy he shot, actually died. The other guy was in critical. So this guy's died. He died. He goes to court for his sentencing. And in between, like after that happens, before he gets arrested, he goes on a drive-by with some other guys. They murder someone else, right? So he's got two cases. So he goes to the first case, the hearing. He looks like a young kid, and he's sorry. He gets 16 years. Then he goes to jail, he's in jail for that case, but he has to go to court for the second case. Comes back, he gets life in prison on his second charge. You know what the huge difference between the two was? On the second one, on the back of his neck, he had a tattoo that said "Murder Gang." You don't think the judge saw that?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much.
Wait. You bragging about the first murder, which was in self-defense, arguably. You get caught with this second one, and why don't you wait until after the second case before you put "Murder Gang" on your neck?
Yeah, exactly.
You're trying not to be in jail as long as you want to. The point is, the words you put out there, the way you represent yourself, tends to be the type of energy and things that come around. So I don't think it's conspiratorial when I think about, 27 Club. I think these tend to be a lot of people who talk a lot about death a lot of times, or who do a lot of drugs.
Damn, bro, I was gonna get Murder Gang on my neck for my birthday.
Man.
I'll think about it now.
Yeah, don't get Murder Gang. Get like Hugs Gang. You know what I'm saying?
Hugs and drugs.
Get LA Fitness Gang.
Yeah. Well, they better pay me for that.
Right, something like that. Get Push Up and Pull Up Gang. Do something like that.
Do you remember when I think it was Gucci Mane when they asked him if he was guilty and he said, "Bitch, I might be."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I
So
mean, Gucci Mane went around bragging.
yeah.
He was just bragging the other week. And they were talking about him and, someone was asking about whether he would talk to Jeezy or something. Or, I don't know. Look, maybe one the other week. Maybe I'm getting the videos transposed. It's quite possible. But I was watching some video and they're asking him about, the guy that he shot. I guess Jeezy sent someone to take care of Gucci. And they're asking about how he shot. And Gucci was on the news saying, "Yep, I did it. He deserved it. He ran up on me. I bet you he wish he breathing now." I mean,
that's savage, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's sad, and it's a product of so many things. But one thing America loves is, that Horatio Alger, pull yourself up from your own bootstraps. Take care of yourself and your family at all cost mentality. And we want you to be able to protect yourself and hunt, and we have these guns. And so we're going to have so many situations where there are people who have disagreements where guns come to play.
That's true, bro.
I mean, there's so many people who got murdered because their girlfriend cheated on them.
Yeah, that's
or
messed up.
Some dude, you know what I mean? It's like, it makes sense that you have so many people who take so much pride in defending themselves and taking a life, which is legal and justified. But what else do you expect? This is where our values lie.
What was that 17-year-old that was in the Kenosha riots? He killed two
Kyle
people.
Rittenhouse.
Yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse. Yep. He killed two people and shot one in the arm, right?
Mm-hmm. Shot an arm off. I think he got his arm amputated.
Damn. Yeah. Well, I'm not too sure. Maybe it was an AR, but whatever it was, pretty big rifle. But I guess we don't got to get into that too much. But there's a point right there too where half the people are saying he was defending himself, and then the other half are like, well, I guess that's my point of view. Is like, what was he even doing there in the first place?
Yeah, he was protecting a gas station. His mom gave him the gun. There's this correlation that is too common to me that property is the same as life, apparently. I understand the emotion behind it. You put your whole life into a business and that's your dream, right? But that's what you get insurance for. Now, you tell me this gas station ain't have insurance and I get the urgency. Otherwise, it just looks like a gang of people with guns. The difference is he got charged with murder one because they don't have stand your ground in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
They have the Castle Doctrine, which means that you can protect your dwelling where you live, your vehicle, if someone is getting in your car trying to pull you out and kill you, and your business. Well, it's none of those three for this kid.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of, it depends on what the case, how the lawyers paint the case and what the jurors want. I'm sure they're going to have the friendliest jury ever, just given how, how people take sides. But he got charged with murder one because it killed two people, and they don't have stand your ground. And there's a bunch of different accounts that showed interactions between the militia people and the people part of the uprising. And there was a bunch of them mad at a bunch of those guys for pointing guns at them and putting scopes on them.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, you guys are out here just putting guns on people. So, that is part of this story. I don't know. I haven't seen the first video I see is this guy running from people, and then I see him murder someone, calls someone on the phone and say he just killed somebody, walking away, and then other people start chasing him. Then he shoots. That's when the second person dies, and then he shoots the guy's arm off. That's what I saw. And so, it's the point is that they start the conversation. They start the conversations with the riots. The conversations didn't start with the riots. The conversations always start with an individual not getting due process, an individual dying at the hands of the government. And that's what these guns are for. And that's the thing I think is ironic about these militias is that, They're there fighting tyranny until they
become the
need to be on the
tyrannical.
side of, before they need to be on the side of tyranny. Because these are cases of the government killing people without giving them due process. Police are agents of the state.
Yeah.
They're defended, the state defends them so they don't get in trouble. And so they keep policing the same. And then the expenses, the price, the costs of all these cases are taken out of tax dollars and not police pensions. Like, this is government tyranny conversations, but the militias are less concerned with that when it comes to a very specific, very particular type of government tyranny. Then they're all for it.
Yeah, man, and it sucks because I'm pro gun, like pro Second Amendment. You know, you do have every right to defend yourself, but then when you have people like what was his name, Kyle?
Rittenhouse.
Yeah, of course it was Kyle too, huh?
Right.
But
I think his mom's name Karen. No,
yeah,
I made that up.
He's guilty. That right there, he's guilty. But it makes gun owners look bad, bro, because like, oh look, they can't control themselves. They have to go put themselves somewhere in a situation they shouldn't be, and they have to go wave their guns everywhere. And you know,
I think gun owners make gun owners look bad because gun owners don't come out and talk bad about this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I look bad.
Gun owners are so worried about their guns being taken away that they're like, well, you know, they had to protect the kid, or they stay quiet.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's I'm pro Second Amendment, but I'm also pro not being dumb.
Yeah, nah, I agree with you on that, bro. Let's everyone be not dumb.
And I'm definitely, I mean, did you see the video of Kyle Rittenhouse beating that girl up, punching that girl?
Yeah, I shared that on my Facebook, yeah.
So I've seen more defense of this kid who punches women.
Yeah.
Who sucker punches women.
Yeah, in a fight he shouldn't have been in again.
Right.
Again.
That's his values. I've seen this kid take his mom's gun, who wasn't registered to him,
in a different state,
which aren't illegal.
Yeah.
But these are things that people, unless, and then I see him kill two people.
Shot one in the back. Shot one in the back that was fleeing, which is illegal too.
See, I didn't even see that part. All right, so look, we add that part in there too. So we see him shooting a guy in the back, and then we see him try to turn himself in, and the police don't pick him up. They tell him to go home. So then he goes home, and this is the messed up part. Like, this is the part where if I was any of these militia people, if I was Kyle, I'd be pissed. He goes home, and then they arrest him the next day and charge him with fleeing the scene. He didn't flee the scene. He turned himself in. The police told him to go home.
Yeah.
That's how bad the Kenosha PD is, you know. Like, oh, they'll tell you to do something, then they'll charge you for listening to them.
Yeah, bro. So I don't know. They've also been bringing up reports about like some of the police officers in Kenosha that they've had prior histories too.
Yeah, the sheriff of the county said that they should put people in warehouses so that they die off, they don't have kids. And these are burglary people.
Yeah.
Like this, but they were a certain type of burglary people. And it wasn't even armed burglary people, if you know what I mean. That is a very dicey place to live if you are not a friend of the Kenosha PD.
Yeah, that's true. And even then, bro, if you like, you know, one day they don't like you anymore, who knows? Who knows what can happen, right?
I mean, there's a top to bottom policing problem in that region, in that department. And I think it reflects the values of why there's a police department anyway. You know, we spend way too much money on policing. And there's a number of reasons for that, one of which is rich people and corporations don't pay taxes. And so now you're looking at the line items from any city, any government, the city budget, and you've got parks and recreation, and you've got, you know, water and landscaping, whatever all the things are in the budget, right? Well, policing is the only one that can actually make you money. Every time you get a ticket, city makes money. Every time a speeding ticket, a parking ticket, city makes money. Anytime they confiscate something, city makes money. So this is what happens when rich people don't pay taxes and corporations don't pay taxes. Cities don't have money. So now what do? You get a bunch of equipment from previous wars that they weren't used in, and you get a bunch of. You come back from war, and this whole country's been at war for 20-some years. There's a whole generation that only knows war. These are the longest wars in the history of our country. Well, they can't get another job, or the job they're most suited for is policing. It's the same equipment, and they're over there fighting insurgents, and they get back here. About 10%, generally speaking, on average, nationwide, about 10% of police officers live in the cities they police. So they drive into these other cities, spend 8 hours there, get paid, and then drive to the suburbs, taking our money with them.
Yep.
And so they're on the beat looking at all these people that look like the insurgents they saw while they've been at war.
And then too,
and it's because the cities don't have money. So they got to over-police.
So like you said, they go from one city back to their suburbs. So like, let's just say they falsely arrest someone or they mess up someone's life, right? And then not only once you're arrested, it's kind of hard to get back with society because anything you do, bam, that's just on top of your old charge. So you're in this cycle of where it's hard for you to try to be a normal citizen again because anything you do, even minimal, can impact your life drastically. And then the police officer is not going to see that because he doesn't live in that city. So he's not going to be able to see all the negative impacts he's had because he's had to go back to his city where it's nice and everything is calm. So it's hard to judge him too, bro, because I know there's good cops out there, and I feel for them because they got a hard job.
I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's nearly enough because I don't hear them talking about each other.
And exactly.
And the ones I see do get fired.
Yep. Or
no, I don't think so.
Gets caught on them. Yeah, man.
No, I don't think so. I don't look. The whole idea of that there's good police is looking at what's in someone's heart versus the job they're trained to do. I can't sit here and say that every police officer is hateful, but I know that they are trained to do these things because they happen so consistently, and they consistently are not punished. There's no repercussions, and all the money it costs to have these cases comes out of tax dollars and not their pensions. There's another case in Wisconsin. It was the centerpiece for this documentary on Netflix called How to Make a Murder. How to Make a Murderer?
Yeah, with that. Was that with that guy that they tried to frame?
Brendan Dassey. Yeah. Brendan Dassey and the other guy, the rednecks.
On Netflix.
The guys on Netflix, right? That case, there was a quote in the first season 1 of that case where one of the sheriffs or one of the county councilmen or whatever said, this family is this family is from a one branch family tree, and we're going to cut this family down because after he got out of jail for that first time, he spent 18 years in jail for the crime he didn't commit. He sued the county for $500,000 or $15 million or whatever it was, right? Probably $15 million. The quotes in that docuseries talk about how, if we lose this second case, that restitution will bankrupt the county. Well, it shouldn't have come out the county in the first place. It should have come out the police.
And then that's another problem right there too. We're talking about money, right? When you monetize people getting in trouble and like you getting rewarded for getting people in trouble too, that's a big issue there, bro. Because you're not looking out for the well-being of people. You're just trying to make money for you and your company so you can keep making money, man.
That's why I don't think there's any good police. And I'm not saying I think they're all hateful and out to kill people. I'm saying this is a system where there's no consequences to people for shooting someone multiple times in the back or kneeling on them for 9 minutes or walking up to a cop or for sitting in the car with your wife and your daughter or your stepdaughter The cop comes up and says, "Hey, do you have any weapons in the car?" "Yeah, I do. I got a gun. I've got a license to registration for it. Let me show it to you." And then the cop gets scared and shoots you there. That's what
Yeah.
happened to Philando Castillo.
Or I saw a
And I'm
video.
supposed to, and like the idea that I'm supposed to be so concerned about highly trained people given all kinds of weapons, and I'm supposed to be like, "Hey, man, their life was in danger. They signed up for it."
Yeah. Hey, that's all that Blue Lives Matter too. You know how they try to. They.
That's why I can't get down with the idea that there's good police officers. Look, I've left institutions that I didn't feel like were positive institutions. I've left those institutions before. And I understand we have this balance between, hey, I got to feed my family, I got to do what I got to do, versus, hey, I got to feed my family, got to do what I got to do, but I can't do it at this cost. That's a very different thing. And so I understand that apparently these people are, just doing what they got to do, and they're scared in the situation. But we're talking about people's lives, and they're there essentially defending property and landowners. That's not a positive institution. So it's hard for me to say that, every police officer doesn't hold some accountability for the system.
I know some good police officers. I can't say that they probably never did anything dirty. I can't say that they have or have not. But from what I know, they've been pretty good with people. Like I said, I can't generalize that for everyone because I live in a city that's pretty crime ridden, and I've been in situations too where the cops get crazy. But
So you've been in situations where cops get crazy. Did your good police officer friends admonish the cops that got crazy? Did they point a finger? Did they hold them accountable within their organizations?
well, I mean, I never brought it up or anything. It was just a situation where, like, well, that's just life. That's just, yeah. I just figured that's how things go.
I used to think like that too, and then I started, then I learned more.
Yeah. Hey, come on, man. I'm not.
It's not, no, that's not shots. There's no shots, no shade. But I intentionally read more things about things like this. I mean, there's, I know more about outer space stuff that's happening around the cosmos than I ever did, because I'm actually actively reading about all of these different moons and the new satellites that are coming out and all this stuff. Like, if you take your time to really dive into anything, you'll find out more things. And policing is one of those things that we've been, I come from the South, and I come from a family that's still together, and I was taught to respect authority, and I was taught to be scared of the police.
Yeah.
100%. But if you really read about policing organizations as a whole, where it comes from, the statistics around it, and where the money goes, how much money they have, and how few crimes are ever committed. Not crimes are ever committed, but how few times they're penalized for things that are off the books, and how shallow the justifications get whenever they need to be. No, it's very difficult for me at this point in time to say, hey, there's some good cops out there, because that doesn't matter, right? The phrase is a bad apple. There was only a few bad apples. Well, that's a bastardization of the phrase. The phrase is one bad apple spoils the whole bunch.
Yes, sir. That's true.
A whole bunch is spoiled now.
And
for decades.
And like you were saying too, even if there are some good cops, like, well, you weren't saying that, but if there are some good cops, and them not saying anything, that pretty much puts them in the same category too. Because
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I don't hear enough of those good cops come out in any of these situations. I see all the good cops standing with each other because Blue Lives Matter. And I understand that, because I know Bloods, and I know Crips, and I know Gangster Disciples, and I know people of all kinds of gangs who just know their person. And I know tons of cats in gangs who went to the roller skating rink or to the gas station or to the strip club. They homie get out of pocket, does something stupid. Now they all got to go to war, and then they get back home, and they're like, now they're all warring against this other gang because one member did something stupid, and they only handle it internally with each other. That is the same thing.
Different gang, just with the badge, with legal power, right?
Look, man, people protect who they are, and if you're protecting the institution that you're a part of, then you have to take the good and the bad.
Well, I guess the point I was trying to get with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, or the main thing is, you were saying that people value buildings more, right, than actual lives. You could always rebuild buildings. You can't bring back a life. Right.
Yeah,
Is that a good way
right.
to sum this up right here?
100%, man.
Uh,
100%. And most people don't have life insurance. I at least got life insurance. Do you have life insurance?
no, but my sister-in-law keeps telling me to get it. She's smart.
Yeah, you better get
I'm not.
some.
Yeah.
Look, man, you said you live in a neighborhood that's rough, and you got cops
City.
that be a city that's rough, and then cops be out there, and then, so that's you're behind enemy lines on both sides.
And
So
I'm
you got rough
27.
people, and you're 27. So at least don't leave a bill.
Yeah, that's true, man. I can't leave my fiance like that with all that money.
Yeah, I mean that's that was actually one of the smartest financial things I ever did was getting life insurance because a lot of them come with cash accounts too that you forget about. And so I looked up, not too long ago, and I got a call from my financial manager. It's like, yo, Jay, man, yo, man, just want to let you know real quick, you got X number of a lot of dollars just laying around. You could do whatever you want with it. No taxes, nothing, no tax charges, no tax penalties. I was like, huh, that's cool. That's the best part of investments for getting the money that you're saving. It's,
Hey,
that's good. I did need $50,000. I'm glad I have that around.
hell yeah, bro, that's sick. Hey, for everyone watching, I might make a dumb face every once in a while, but it's because I'm actually I'm listening to what Justin Hunt has to say, and I'm learning a lot from you, man. So like I appreciate you being on here. Um, I guess, what do you think about the current state of hip hop? I guess pivot a little.
Uh, I mean, I like it. I like hip hop in general, and so I don't have a state of hip hop that I don't like. I've got sounds I'm not a fan of. I think that, but I've also never been in a hip hop environment where there wasn't enough stuff that I liked to where the whackness mattered. So, but I'll tell you what I like the most. I like the innovation I'm seeing. I think the versus is great. I think um, I think that hip hop now reminds me a lot of in the late '90s from a media standpoint, or early 2000s from a media standpoint. Meaning, you know, um, every artist has their own platform now, so the media itself is on the outside looking in when it comes to, or has to pay a lot to get certain features or get certain artists to share certain features. You know what I mean? Because I feel like there's a, I feel like there's a big gulf of half and half nots again. And I feel like the 2000s kind of leveled the playing field because the internet allowed so many people to build audiences directly.
And then
And now I think we're at the place where the internet is, the algorithms make it a lot more difficult to do that again. So, but I still think there's great music coming up.
and the good thing about having your own platform too is well, the good and bad thing is no one can really twist your words too crazy. Like whatever you put out there, good or bad, is what you said. So the news can't really try to skew you as much one way as they could before.
I actually think that's actually worse.
You think so?
I think now because they're not giving as many, because there isn't necessarily a direct relationship with the media in the same way, the media now has to latch on to what's happening on people's socials from a second or third person perspective. And they're more apt to get stuff wrong because they're trying to be fast based off of a headline or a video they saw on your page about a story they don't fully understand. And there's no live, and so, whereas before, if you talk to the media, they got something wrong. It was still your quotes. Generally, they were just mad at you for putting out that quote in that context. Now it's like, well, you saying what you want to say, but the media going to jump in there and make it what they want to make it because there's no direct relationship that needs to be preserved. A relationship with the media and an artist is important because, it was reciprocal. You need the media to spread messages, and the media needed a relationship with the artist to have exclusive. Well, now you don't need either of those anymore. As much as I'm a fan of DJ Academics, and I respect the influence he was able to build, despite the number of people who have disagreed with him outwardly and publicly based off of how he did it, right? And so people talk about canceling academics. It's too late. You can't cancel academics. Academics never needs to talk to a person directly ever again. He can watch rap and hip hop just do its thing on social media and just post it first, like he's always been doing, which is how he started. And so that gap where you don't necessarily need each other is when you start getting things wrong, and when you start having your words manipulated, and when you start having these rogue publications, you don't know who's making them, that's putting out crazy headlines where they're getting paid in the background. Right, that is when things get dicey, when you don't have to work with each other. That's when the culture gets like that is a problem. That's why I like community. It's more helpful.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm part of your community, bro. I'm on your side.
Likewise, man. Same here.
Hell yeah. And like right now, bro, even if there's some stuff we don't agree about, at least we can talk about it. I'm not gonna
100%.
I'm not just gonna post like, Justin Hunt wants to kill all cops,
Yeah, well, that would be, and you would get sued if you did, because I definitely did say that.
No.
Now, if you said Justin Hunt said all cops are bad, I wouldn't be mad at the headline, because I explained that to my comfort level in the conversation. Now, I understand how people get sensitive. Well, man, you really don't want that headline there when you find your mama Googling you and she's calling you up saying what you say. But if that gets people to the story or to what I said, I'm fine with it. I understand what the game is. So yeah, you can say Justin Hunt says there ain't no good cops, because I just said it. I said it again.
Yeah.
And I said why.
Yeah, and like I said, bro, that's your opinion, and everyone has their opinion, bro. That's awesome.
But if you told me if you said Justin Hunt said kill all cops, now we got a problem.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not gonna do that, man. Yeah, that's not.
Because I'm like, oh, I did not say that.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, you get what I'm saying? How news kind of tries to like skew their, and then they'll put the actual quote or some stuff like that. That's what I don't agree on right now. Is I don't like how media uses the clickbait.
I mean, there's less. Well, one, everybody's the media. Not every individual with a social media account is the media. If you got Facebook and 14 friends, you're the media. If you've got Twitter and 200 people that follow you, you're the media. When every time you share some story, you don't know what it is or about, and you didn't do the research, you're spreading that to someone else, and you're culpable. That's how we have to look at this. This idea that there's some towering media force that is out there with nefarious reasons doesn't most times start with them anymore. It starts with something we saw some human being post on social media that the organization saw and said, hey, this is what happened. We'll see what happens. And then they just posted. Like, we all have that responsibility. I think it's, if anything, I like that better now. I just wish more people appreciated the fact that, just because you got a blue check, or just because, just because you don't work in a certain field, you're still responsible for misinformation.
I guess since we're talking about blue checks and not you, but just you saying that people are responsible for what they say and what they do and what they promote. Do you like that athletes are helping to promote hip hop a little more now? Because I noticed in like video games, there's been a lot more hip hop in the past years compared to like what I saw last. Like the last time I can remember hip hop really being in games was probably like NBA Street, or like other than these past couple of years, it being more.
I'm not sure. I'm not necessarily up on, video game soundtracks like that. I feel like 2K's been having rap in it for a while.
Yeah.
And I remember 50 Cent had a video game, and I know Grand Theft Auto had rap on it. And then I remember Parappa the Rapper, and I remember people used to make beats on video games. So I kind of think there's always been a synergy there. And I know that, I guess after Michael Jordan, I guess while Michael Jordan is there, whenever anybody who saw The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan thing, when he was jamming to Kenny Lattimore, well, he didn't like rap around then, but everyone else seemed to. And so there was a lot of rappers like Allen Iverson was, a huge, he was a rapper. So was Kobe, So I'm not sure if it's something that I can say is happening that's particularly new. I think that LeBron James executive producing a 2 Chainz album is interesting.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's
But
crazy.
cats have been connecting um, rap and sports for a long time, just because of the communities where these things are most prominent, or where people come from. Like, rappers want to be ball players and ball players want to be rappers. It's an old
Yeah, that's true right there,
trope.
bro. Yeah, and sometimes you try to intertwine. Who would your favorite, I guess, athlete rapper be?
That's a good one. I mean, right now, probably Damian Lillard.
Damian Lillard, Dame Dollar.
Dame Dollar got bars, man. You can't sleep on him, and you got to play up close on him on defense.
Even at like half court.
Yeah, basically. I don't think his release is as fast as Steph's, but he's got the range. And I think Shaq is one of my favorites. Shaq.
Yeah,
Shaq had a platinum record.
Decent.
Yeah.
Dude, I've never heard it, bro.
Yeah.
I guess I'm sleeping on Shaq.
You got to do better, man. You got to just, you should punch yourself in the face right now.
I can't do that, bro. I can't cry on my own podcast.
You're right. That's fair. I'll allow that.
All right, bro. Who is your favorite current artist then, if not athlete?
And what do you mean by current? Like new young artist or someone who's still rapping?
Someone who's still rapping.
Favorite artist that's still rapping?
Like, I guess Snoop Dogg can
look, I'm always impressed by. I'm always a Lupe fan. Kendrick hasn't missed yet when it comes to me.
Hey, is Lupe Fiasco still putting out music?
Yeah, he's put out a project called what's it called? House Shoes? House. No, it's House, and it's got a song called Shoes. House came out in July, so
July?
last month.
All right, I'm gonna have to catch that because I like Lupe.
Yeah, Lou's dope. Kendrick hasn't missed me yet. I love. I'm a big fan of Polo G. I like his melodies a lot.
I have to check out Polo G too.
I'm a big Mozzie fan. Mozzie has one of my 3 favorite albums this year.
My sister-in-law is a big Mozzie fan, so she was gonna like that.
Yeah, Mozzie's great, man, and he reminds me of Scarface. He feels like the new Scarface to me. The way he captures pain in his voice, and
hey, that's a good person to be linked with, bro. Scarface.
You ain't never lied.
Well, right now, no.
See, now you the media. You can't be talking about you lie. I'm on your podcast.
Hey, I'm not, dude. I probably lie
I'm
sometimes.
joking.
I probably lie sometimes. I'm not gonna lie about that because then I'd be lying. So, it's kind of unfair to me to ask, what's your favorite current artist? But all time, if you could only, I guess, have one person you can listen to on like a phone or iPod or something, who would it be? Like,
one artist?
Yeah, if you could just only listen to them.
Wow, that's tough. Only one artist? I'd probably pick Andre 3000.
Andre, dang, dude, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I'd probably pick Andre.
Is that just because his albums are different, or just?
Huge reason, absolutely, yeah, and also because he's can sing and rap, and he's got something for every occasion. So if I can only listen to one album and I need to throw a party, I can do that with 3 Stacks. If I can only listen to one album and I got a date coming over, I can do that with 3 Stacks. If I can only listen to one album and I'm smoking and driving, I can do that with 3 Stacks. If I'm only listening to one album, I need to go to the gym, I can do that with 3 Stacks. If I only listen to one album and need to hear something in the club, 3 Stacks used to be in the club. So for me, I look at albums. I think music is only as useful as the number of places you can use it.
All right, no, yeah, that's a good answer, bro.
So, yeah, so like a song like "Flashing Lights" works everywhere.
Yeah,
no place "Flashing Lights" doesn't work. It's a 5-tune song, or like "Doves Cry." "Doves Cry," Prince's "Doves Cry" works everywhere. Like there's certain songs that just no matter where you are,
you can rock it.
And so, yeah.
So, speaking of, I guess no matter where you are, if you could set up a concert, like your own concert. You can pick any three people: the headliner, the co-main event, and then someone opening for them. Who would the top three be, and where would it be? If you could pick anywhere in
Definitely, it would definitely be in LA. LA
LA.
to me has got the best concert venues. This whole outdoor Palladium stuff that California does is the best thing I've ever seen. Like from the Hollywood Bowl to like just all these things. So it would definitely be on the West Coast because I wouldn't have to worry about rain or getting rained out. And it would be great weather. And so you could be outside, which would make it weed smoking friendly. And so, and how many acts am I looking for? Three?
Yeah, just three to put on a poster, I guess.
Three artists to put on the poster for a concert. I'll put Kendrick, Lupe, and Andre. Outkast. It'd be Outkast, Kendrick, and Lupe.
Oh, okay. So Lupe would be one of the opening, and then Kendrick.
It would go Lupe, Outkast, Kendrick. I'd put it in that order.
All right, yeah, I'd do that. I'd go. I'd definitely do that.
It'd be the illest, and I know there would be some improbable ciphers that happened in the backstage that everybody wished they were there for.
Oh, okay, so you would give me a backstage pass then if if that were to happen?
If it was my show, if it was my show, definitely, I'd definitely do it. I don't know. Depends on how much line you're doing at that point in time.
Oh, that's true too. Hey, maybe I'll freestyle. Who knows?
Oh, you got bars? Can you rhyme? You got bars?
Maybe one song. That's it. After that, I'll just repeat everything I said for each freestyle.
That's because rapping is hard. I spent a couple of years writing rhymes on the subway. That's the first thing I learned. This is not easy.
No, I agree, man. If not, everyone would be doing it, huh?
I mean, everybody's doing it. That's why everybody ain't good.
Yeah, facts. Damn, bro, is that a bar you wrote down, or is that
No,
just
that's on top. That's on top.
If you could have any guest on your show, alive or passed away, I guess, who would it be? Who would you want on your show?
Jimi Hendrix, definitely.
Jimi Hendrix, that'd be insane.
Yeah, definitely Jimi Hendrix. I mean, this dude, he's one of those dudes who shouldn't have existed. And then, alive or dead?
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix is fine, but you can go ahead and...
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix and probably James Baldwin.
What songs does he sing?
Oh, he's not a musician. You're right. He's actually a speaker. So I do Jimi Hendrix, and if I do a musician, I do.
I said guest. So who is? You said he's a speaker? No, I said guest.
Yeah, James Baldwin's an author, an activist from the 50s and 60s. He died in the 80s. He was a pioneer in his effectiveness of fighting for civil rights and being able to scare white people while inspiring them to do better at the same time, which could be tough. And so he was able to do both. And he was also a part of the LGBTQ community, which separated him from the black community because black people don't like gay people either. And so he was overcoming that as well. And his voice is just infinitely powerful. I did an episode of The Breakdown on DX that used him in it, or he was a big part of. And the episode is called "Is A$AP Rocky Overrated?" And
you can look that up on YouTube.
It's not on YouTube anymore. It's on Daily Motion. So you can type it into
Google,
and the Daily Motion link will pop up. It's off of YouTube because there's a clip from an iHeart radio show, and iHeart blocks anything that has any of their radio interviews in it, so they took it down. DX hasn't gone back and cut that part out of it yet, or if they will, I don't know. But
that's why you want control of your catalog too, right? So if stuff like this happens, you can.
I mean, if I was still there, you can go into YouTube now, and you could just quiet that part, and then the thing will still keep going. I would do that, but I don't think there's anybody left at DX from the people I hired. So I guess Trent. Trent's the only one still there. So, people run the businesses differently.
You said that guy's name was James Baldwin. Yeah. I think it's pretty dope that more people can, be on shows and talk about whatever they want to talk about, because I never heard about that guy, and I'm not trying to disrespect him when I say that guy, but you got to bring him to the forefront, and I'm definitely gonna check him out just to see what he was about.
Yeah, go check. I mean, look, YouTube is the best because you can find everything on it. So just go type in James Baldwin on YouTube and watch some of his speeches, and just watch him on, different debate shows of the era. Watch him, at Oxford, and he's one of the civil rights era's leading intellectuals. And so I would love to talk to him.
I'm kind of getting a little close to wrapping this up. We've been at it for a while, but who would be on your Mount Rushmore of musical artists, not just hip hop, but
Musical artists?
4 people, kind of similar. If like who are your goats?
I like rap a whole lot, man. So
You can make it all rap, bro.
You can make it all some rap on that, but this Kanye West is definitely on there.
Old Kanye or new Kanye?
Both.
Right.
I like both. I mean, I didn't like the Ye album that much, but I love Yeezus.
Jesus,
So,
that one was crazy. That was a crazy shift.
Yeah, I loved it. So Kanye's on there. Who else would be on there? Tupac would be on there, definitely. Lupe would be on there. And Kendrick, I'd put Kendrick on there.
All right, hey, that's pretty dope, man. And it's tough. It's tough to just think on the spot too. Random questions. Like this.
Yeah, and I think at one point in time, one thing that happens to me is my top fives, my different tiers, my Mount Rushmores, they change all the time. Not all the time, but they generally change. They evolve.
Yeah, someone could bump up, someone could bump down.
Yeah, I mean, Kendrick hasn't missed yet. That's so difficult.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially when your debut is a classic like that, and then just to keep going up, it's hard to keep doing.
Yeah, I mean, he was so good before that. I went and listened to Section 80 the other day for the first time in a long time, and I still feel the same way I felt about it then. But the peaks are higher than I remember, even if the valleys are just as low as I remember. There's some tracks on there that I always find myself skipping, and I was still skipping them. But he did that song Institutionalized. That's one of the most brilliant songs I've ever heard. It's on To Pimp a Butterfly. And I always look at songs that anyone could have made in the history of hip hop, or songs that one person made that anyone before them could have made that they never made, right? There's a lot of Mo Money, Mo Problems type songs, right? There's a lot of songs that are about, robbing somebody. There's a lot of songs about getting robbed. There's a lot of songs about falling in love. There's a lot of songs about cheating. He's got this song Institutionalized that's about his homies, 2 different perspectives. One, him complaining about bringing his homies to the BET Awards and trying to rob people. And then the next verse is his homies explaining why he's got to rob people. So it's like, and the hook is shit don't change until you get up and wash your ass. Meaning, eventually you have to change who you're hanging around with, or you're just bringing crime wherever you go, right? And so the thing that was so dope is on the second verse where it's Kendrick's homie explaining to Kendrick why he's got to rob the dude. It opens with, "What am I supposed to do when I'm looking at walking licks?" He said, it's one thing. Now, I could watch on TV and be okay, but it's another thing when that watch lands in L.A. They say rob from the rich and give to the poor. Well, that's me at these awards. And anybody in rap history could have made that song.
Yeah.
There's been award shows. There's been people who had homies around them always trying to rob people, but no one did. And that's a sign of imagination. And imagination is crucial and critical, and it's all over my Mount Rushmore.
This is a pretty good perspective too. Now when I listen to music, I can kind of think about that too. Like, hey, you know what? Maybe like look at this. I have never heard of this before. Never heard of this talked about, but this shit's dope.
It's like, I mean, Lupe did that. Lupe did Daydreaming. It's a song about a project building that turns into a robot, and it won a Grammy. Anybody could have made that song because projects are older than hip hop and robots are older than hip hop. But it's imagination that brings them together, and that's how, you know, you carry things forward.
I like that song too. It's pretty dope. It's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of like a, maybe it's not a song I'd be bumping in the streets. Yeah.
I mean,
just driving down, just daydreaming.
yeah, I mean, it definitely it ain't gonna bring the gangsters out, so maybe you should.
Yeah, maybe. Or if the cop pulls me over, be like, "Well, I didn't see the sign. I was daydreaming."
Right. It's a good thing you're listening to Daydreaming.
Yeah. But,
have you ever been listening to FTP?
Oh yeah. One time I was at the light, and I remember my radio in the Honda, the volume would just like blare up, and you'd have to turn off the car to reset the radio to turn it down. And I was at the light, and dude, that song just bumped up all the way up, and it wasn't a police officer, but it was the fire department. They pulled up right next to me, and they had their windows down, and dude, they were just trying to mug me the whole time that was bumping. And I just looked at the guy, and I was just like, well, fuck, it's a good song.
That's funny.
But yeah, that's one of those days where you kind of wish you fixed some of your stuff.
Right.
But what's some advice you'd give to my fans out here, whether it's about life, whether it's about business, just if you could give them one piece of advice, what's something you'd give them?
The only people who don't achieve their dreams are those who quit. Okay. So it's not about speed, it's about endurance. Because it took Macklemore 10 years to win a Grammy. And so once you achieve your dreams or once you accomplish your goals, be proud of it. Stand on it. Don't apologize for winning in hip hop ever. Ever.
All right, dude, that's a good way to cap that. So I'm gonna go to the live questions. I'll give you a quick roulette of questions, see if you can hit the top 3 of most questions you can answer. You can drop your social, and then I'll let you go, okay? So, cool. Quick 45-second break. For the people that are watching, this is your chance to go ahead and ask any question you want to Justin Hunt. This is your chance to talk to him personally, so make it good. All right, let's take a quick break.
So we come back now, or we wait?
Man, you can go ahead and wait for 45 seconds.
Okay.
Check it out.
What platform is this on? Twitch?
Yeah, this is on YouTube and Twitch, but they can hear you real quick. I can't put the mic. We're back, kind of. We're back, but it's cool. You're talking, I was talking. I want everyone to know that. That's awesome because it's a live show, bro.
That's what it is. That's the best part.
Yes, sir. So I hope everyone enjoyed that. I don't know if anyone had fun. So I'm going to read some from Trey Redding. He has a bunch, but since he's your day one, I'll probably read 1 or 2, maybe 3.
Okay.
I'll respect him for following you and for following me on this. So let's go.
Trey's got great taste.
All right, we'll find out right now. So in an interview, you said Kendrick Lamar borrows various ideas from Lupe Fiasco. Just wondering, what ideas did Kendrick borrow?
He had, one, his style of storytelling is in that Lupe Fiasco extended metaphor vein. He has an album, Damn, that is told backwards. It can be played forwards and backwards in reverse order. Lupe's album, Tetsuo and Youth, was structured the same way, only he broke it down by seasons. You can look at the way that Lupe had an album that was all black before Kendrick went in that direction with one of them. There's a few stylistic things that are very similar. Lupe would point out some other things. But the biggest one to me is that you have very metaphorical, conceptual artists that are putting particular detail into things. And, Lupe had influenced Kendrick in that way. Kendrick also, look, you could listen to Good Kid, Mad City, and that's a John Singleton movie. That's literally Boys in the Hood. Anybody who saw Boys in the Hood, you get halfway through the album, you know how the album ends. You get to Tip of a Butterfly. There's a lot of elements there that are previously existed. So Kendrick does this, but the most nuanced, most difficult things are things I believe were inspired by Lupe.
All right. He asked another question. Well, I guess I'll go with that one instead of his previous ones. Hey, did you make a video about Lupe and Kendrick already?
Yeah, it's called Steal Like an Artist.
Come on, Trey. You already answered that. Why would you ask that? Wasting questions, bro. But he's saying, how accurate is Dissect podcast with his analysis on Kendrick Lamar's Damn?
I think it's great. I think that podcast is really amazing in how they put everything together. I don't have anything that I disagree with on it.
And his analysis too, isn't that kind of like, wouldn't that be Dissect's kind of opinion as well?
I mean, everybody, I would take it as his opinion. The reason why I connect certain things is because I know people in these camps.
Yeah.
And so when I talk to them, I haven't seen any of them disagree to me about any of it. And the analysis that, by the time that podcast came out, certain things were already revealed about it. So I think that was their starting point in terms of how deep it actually gets. And I think it's in line. I think it's in line with what I think the larger themes and takeaways from that project really were.
All right. And the only reason I said opinion is because, like, even if you agree or disagree with whatever, however he dissected his analysis, I guess, on it, it's still, you're not accurate and he's not accurate. It's just someone's opinion, That's kind of a hard one to answer too.
Sometimes. I mean, look, if someone has an opinion backed by research, quotes, and, things taken from the original sources, I tend to think about those a little bit more than I think about someone sitting at home, watching something happen 3,000 miles away.
Yep, that's true.
There's a difference between an opinion and then a hypothesis. You know what I mean?
I felt a little diss right here, but whatever. I like that quick flex. Actually, my fiance, Laura Mendoza from YouTube, I guess I better read this, huh? She said, I'm curious, what do you think about Russ? Have you heard of Russ?
Yeah, I like his interviews more than I like his music. I think he gets a bad rap, but I do like how he pushes independent ownership. I like how he pushes, season your own destiny. I think he's a solid musician who's earned his fan base, but that's pretty much where it ends. The type of music he makes, I don't really listen to it. The fact that he makes music, I respect that.
Hell yeah. Like you said, it's not easy writing bars or lyrics, man.
Not at all. It's hard. He can rap, don't get me wrong. He could definitely rap, but I think his interviews are more interesting than his music to me.
And it's also a lot harder to make a lot of money off of it too, right?
I mean, it depends on your entry point. I mean, that's a little bit different. Russ has a different entry point than the rest of us. So most people need time and freedom to achieve their dreams, right? Life moments get in the way. Your mama, your baby, your girlfriend having a baby at the wrong time, a family emergency, not having money and having to go back to work. Those are the things that usually stop or slow down people's progress to the point where they quit. I don't think Russ ever really had to worry about any of those. So he got to spend 100% of his time on his dreams, which is, not a luxury that everybody has.
Yeah. Bless the Lord for that, huh?
Yeah, 100%. I think he's doing good things with the platform. He's not out here putting out negative music to me.
Oh yeah, man. We'll do one more question from Trey Redding. Can you list your top 5 best lyricists in hip hop history?
Yo, I swear, is that you, Trey? I don't know who. Someone, every platform I'm on, I get there's 5 or 6 different people. I started thinking that someone was just coming up with the different, changing the just to ask this question because I never answer this question, and I've got to the point where it's fun for me to avoid this question.
All right. Man.
So, but the true answer is I have a different way of looking at lyricism that I think is a disconnect and has evolved over time. I look at lyrics as being including things like wordplay. I don't look at lyrics as being like content.
Like
right?
the most words.
I wouldn't look at Tupac as a lyricist to me. I look at him as like someone who's got weighty content, right? I would look at Jay-Z as more of a lyricist with weighty content, right? So, maybe one day I'll answer that question.
Okay. Hey, his Mount Rushmore might be the closest you're gonna get. All right.
Yeah, Kanye's definitely not on there. I don't think Kanye's a lyricist.
Yeah, definitely not. You remember what was that song he dropped on? I think it was on Apple Music, or I'm not too sure, where it was like poop-diddy loop, like.
Yeah. I think he had T.I. on it, and Drake got mad because that was a Drake beat. He's supposed to give that beat to Drake. I don't know, man. Look, Kanye's doing some of the most important things we've ever seen a Black American ever do right now. And it's not running for president. It's buying a whole bunch of land in Wyoming where they have no Black people and becoming an employer and employing all these white people to be around all these Black people and having these white people raise his cattle and tend to his land so that he can own his own leather shop and sell leather in bulk to people. I mean, he is at the point and very quickly been able to maximize the supply chain in fashion in a red state far away where they hate liberals.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
I mean, I'll let him I'll take all his bipolar nutso stuff because that's what I see. And I saw him do this in music already, and he's very good at that part. So I'm still inspired by Ye.
All right. Well, that was the live questions. I guess I'll just ask Justin Hunt off camera what his top 5 lyricists are.
We'll see. We'll get to it. We'll get to that one day.
All right.
Maybe
So
apparently, I clearly need to save that for a whole video, so I just don't want to leak that information.
No, that's fine, man. I'm glad that I guess you have this little background with your community. That's pretty sick.
That's what it is. And you got it right. Community.
Exactly, bro. So I have these turbo questions. I'm gonna ask you questions in 30 seconds. Try to answer. They're either or. Try to answer as much as you can. In case we missed any topics, this might help people understand you a little bit more about you. Okay? So, you ready?
Yep.
All right. In 1 second, let's go. Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac.
East Coast or West Coast?
East Coast.
80s or 90s hip hop?
90s.
Jay-Z or Nas?
Jay-Z.
Lyrics or beat?
Lyrics.
Old Kanye or new Kanye?
Both Kanye.
Twitter or Instagram?
Twitter.
Eminem or Machine Gun Kelly?
Eminem, but Machine Gun, I think, won that battle.
Underground or Billboard?
Time's
Billboard. Up. I guess you were on that one, so you got 9.
Yeah. How many questions were there?
Well, I write down like 25.
Snap! I got 9.
But I don't think the most anyone's gotten is 13.
Oh wow! Okay, well that's good. So what's the average? Am I slow?
Actually, you're actually on par. The top top 3 is 11, like 13 to 11. So
gotcha.
So 9 is about the average. And one time I cheated on accident, so.
Okay, all right. There you go.
I was having an off day, so I guess I was asking the question slow. So.
Oh man,
yeah,
that's fun. That's messed up. You're like, no, what? I don't want this person to do well. Let's see. Question 1: red or what's the other color? Blue.
Red, yeah, exactly. Well, technically, those aren't really they're primary colors, but I didn't say green.
Right.
But
that's funny.
Do you have any questions for me before I let you go?
No, man. I just want to tell you thank you for having me. This has been great, and any way I can support the show going forward, I'm down to do so. I enjoyed the questions, and I'd love to do this any other time.
Hell yeah, man. We'll run it back one day. Right now is the time for you to go ahead and drop any social media you want. Your YouTube, obviously, you're gonna do that, but now's your time to shine. Let people know where they can find you.
Follow at The Company Man on everything, on all platforms. It's easy. Check me out on YouTube. check me out on All Out Show with Ruju, and make sure you go vote.
Hey, look at that. Big messages right there. And everyone watching right now live, I appreciate you for joining the show. It's awesome. It makes it fun. You guys give me questions to ask them during the live questions. No one asked questions, and I'd be like, well, I got to back up, but don't worry. Make sure to catch the Why Not Me podcast Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you like and subscribe the video, the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe the Company Man's channel and his videos. And if you're not watching this live, you're still dope. I appreciate you for watching the episodes when you can. This was a crazy night. Some random person named Unknown just messaged cool. You're awesome too.
Shout out to Unknown.
Yeah, shout out to everyone. Have a good night. And I'm about to end this. I'll talk to you for a little bit off screen. So if you can hold on for one more minute after this, let's go. All right, have a good night, everybody. Catch you next week.